Exactly.
All right, you guys ready?
Yes, sir.
3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to Snake Talk. I am excited because we're going to be talking a little bit about snakes, but we're also going to be talking about a new world with my buddy Dan C. is in the house. How you doing, man?
Good, absolute. Still hasn't sank in. Pleasure to be here. I said,
That's awesome.
Over a year ago, I wrote down 3 channels I wanted to have an honor to be on, and this is literally one of them.
That's awesome. Well, it's, you guys, if you don't know, Dan is one of the biggest influencers when it comes to the beard community. So he's got a great YouTube channel, Instagram, all that type of stuff, and you can see why because your beard is pretty majestic.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's so I've got a lot of questions to ask you. Obviously, I've by the way, you know, I don't even know if I can grow a beard, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
As a professional, you think I could?
100%.
I
With
could,
not
okay.
even just saying
Okay,
that.
because up until a couple years ago, I was a patchy mess.
Okay.
So I'm 52, by the way.
Yep.
I was 40, and there was no chance I could grow a beard. I mean, I could grow a mustache. As a matter of fact, I don't know. I'm sure you haven't heard this story, but I've never had a mustache in my life, but I grew a mustache for my wedding.
Wow.
And so
That's bold,
all
right?
my wedding pictures have this thick mustache, and then I shave the next day.
Usually it's the opposite. Usually you shave for the wedding.
No, and I don't.
I love it.
I honestly don't know what the thinking was, you know. So I don't know. But guys, obviously, anyone in the super chat that has any questions for
Holler at
Dan,
us.
for myself, we can talk about reptiles. We can talk about beards. We can talk about all kinds of topics. I'm sure this conversation will be all over the place by the end of
Absolutely.
it, which is what I always love. But yeah. So I think that finally I've hit puberty.
Yes.
You know.
Good for you,
beards
man.
do get better with age. We
Yeah.
have this thing called DHT, which is
Right.
testosterone that
And that's the same thing that reverses the balding, right?
Well,
Yeah.
it makes you bald.
Right,
So,
yeah.
it makes you bald, and then usually you grow better facial hair. But
Yeah.
there are freaks of nature that can have great beards and great head hair.
Yeah.
It's just not super common.
Wow. See, maybe that's why I haven't been able to grow a beard.
It's because of how long the
I've
hair
had
is.
my hair.
You have to shorten it.
I gotta shorten my hair.
Yeah.
Get some hair on my.
Yeah, you get a little crew cut going on. You might
Yeah.
look just like Dan over
Yeah.
here.
You should see my legs. You've seen my legs. I mean,
Oh, my God. Yeah, baby.
Like if you looked at my calves, you would think I shaved.
Yeah, straight
So,
up.
okay.
Like I
so-
have like no hair.
Me too. And this is, we got a lot of beard people watching right now. It's kind of a joke on the channel is I have massive calves.
Okay.
This is a special occasion. I don't normally wear pants. I usually
Okay.
wear shorts.
Ah,
And I have massive calves because my Achilles tendon is too tight. So I like pretty much since a kid was walking on my tiptoes.
Oh my
So
gosh.
not
Like a
do that.
gazelle.
No working out whatsoever. It's
Yeah.
just a genetic mutant. And my calves are bald because of rubbing on my pants.
Yes.
They're
okay.
so tight. So mine
Oh my
look bald
gosh.
too.
Well, thanks for
yeah.
dressing up,
Yeah,
dude.
well,
You're
appreciate-
welcome.
yeah,
You're welcome.
appreciate
I
that.
thought
Yeah, I
the
appreciate
basketball
that.
shorts won't
So
work.
have you fixed those Achilles? I mean, do you do some stretches or do you?
I try. It's like when I get to stretching, and I was a water polo player, played
Right.
through college, and
Which, by the way,
everything.
I got to talk to you about water polo here. I mean, water polo is how deep is the water?
12 to 16 feet usually.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
insane. I didn't
even,
know that.
I don't even understand how it's
Yeah.
possible that you can like launch yourself out of the water.
Uh-huh.
And you were a coach until recently.
Yes. Yep. This is my first ever season and year not coaching in 15 years.
Oh my gosh, that's
Yep.
crazy.
So yeah.
That's insane.
I watch water polo
I love it.
in the Summer Olympics.
Yep.
And I was mesmerized. The women's team was great, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
They
heard
were
about 'em.
crushing.
They
man.
always win. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're fantastic.
They're crushing.
Our
man.
goalie is like the best of all time this
Yeah.
year, and actually in Michigan we have a good hub. Ann Arbor is massive in water polo. The previous goalie was from Ann Arbor Huron, from the women's Olympic team. So
Right.
Wow.
yeah, and then most people are like, how do you do that? And pretty much it's an egg beater motion with your legs.
Egg
and
beater motion.
Yeah,
So
there's-
you're like a duck.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so there's no sides, no bottom, and you're wrestling, you're kicking, you're swimming, starting,
Yeah, I mean, do
stopping.
people ever like dunk you?
Oh yeah. So there's positions, and there's like the equivalent of a center in basketball, which is what I played. And pretty much, if you're holding the ball, there's no such thing as a foul. To get a foul, you got to let go of the ball. So if you're a big, strong person, you want to be able to hold on to that ball, kind of move your defender and score. Well, while you're holding it, they can get on your shoulders, they can hit your arm.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
brutal. But
is
if you
awesome.
can power through it, you get the goal. And so
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
it's an intense sport, and I coached men's and women's, and
Okay.
so it's interesting the dynamics. A lot of times the girls' season will start, and oh, that's my baby, don't, and it's
Right.
yeah, it's interesting, but it's a brutal sport.
That's crazy. I mean, water polo to me is is just a thing. Yeah, are we not getting super chats because of?
That's what I'm wondering, but I
monetization
haven't seen any pop up yet, so that's what I'm. But it says it's monetized, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, so let me know if you guys can super chat, because normally we would have super chats by now. But we actually recently had some issue with the channel.
Okay.
Where they demonetized our channel because
channel, not a video?
The entire channel.
Wow.
And so we thought that we got it fixed yesterday, as a matter of fact. So in the chats, if someone's trying to super chat,
yeah, just let me know and I'll read.
Just let me know. I'd like to know if we can, and if we can't, then we'll just have to read some chats, and that's fine. That's not a problem. But yeah, so I've been on YouTube since 2008. Apparently, they sent a letter, an actual snail mail letter.
Okay.
And to where I don't know. I have no idea where they sent this to. And it had a pin on it. And you were supposed to then enter the pin to verify your account for monetization.
So like when it started, because we had to do that for AdSense and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And now keep in mind, I've been monetized for over a year. Year plus doing this.
And no, they can't do it.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So no super chats tonight, guys.
No option. That's crazy.
Cool. Well, we'll just go ahead. We'll pick some.
Yeah, I'll
chats.
cipher through the chat and try to find some questions for you guys.
Wow, I got to figure out how to do that. That's crazy. That's really wild. So, no big deal. We'll get some questions. So feel free to just tonight is free, guys.
Yeah, tonight's a freebie. You guys launch some questions.
You guys launch questions, all that you guys want. So, but yeah, so thankfully I have a Google Manager, for YouTube.
That's what I was.
So we're
hoping,
able to reach out to my Google Manager, and they said, all right, we waived the pin, but now we have to remonetize the channel. And as of yesterday, I thought that we were back monetized.
Okay.
But obviously, we are not able to super chat, which is a bummer. I think we're making money on the channel now, but I think what it is on the back end, we have to turn super chats on, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And I guess we just didn't do that. So
Weird.
What a bummer. So that's it. No big deal. But yeah, water polo is crazy. Like I said, I don't think I could do the whole getting dunked and. I'm not the strongest swimmer. I'm okay, but like I'm, I couldn't. How many? What's a shift?
So we have 7-minute quarters, and some players play the entire game. The best players rarely ever come out.
Wow.
And so
a lot of treading water.
Like goalies have. You don't usually have a sub for goalie. They've
got to tread water the whole time.
The entire time. Yep. They don't touch anything, and then to make a save, they pop way out of the water. There's miles that you swim in a game. It's unreal.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Well, and it's interesting because Michael Phelps was in Ann Arbor for a while too, right?
Yeah, he went to school there. Yep.
Yeah. So I guess Michigan is the place to be.
With all these lakes, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you got to save yourself when you're in the middle of Huron.
If you guys ever want to be a swimmer, come to Michigan.
Yeah, dude.
Be a good thing. So so I did see a picture of you without a beard or with a short beard.
Okay.
One or the other. I can't. Was it no beard or was it a short beard? I can't remember.
So probably a short beard.
Yeah.
Last time I didn't have any kind of facial hair was probably my senior year in high school.
Yeah, it was on Instagram maybe that you had a picture.
Yeah. Probably my first year of teaching I did the before and the current.
Yeah. That's what I saw. That's what I saw.
It was probably 12 years ago.
Very different. It's amazing how a beard can change somebody.
It changes the whole shape of your face.
And so, you said that the beard kind of community started in 2013.
Not even the community, the business side of it. Right. So our first U.S. companies were around 2013.
That actually would make beard products.
Yeah, exactly.
So prior to that, it was just people but I noticed that when I was a kid, beards weren't really that cool.
Right.
And then, it got to a point where it was cool to have a beard, man, and I was always bummed because I'd try to grow it, but I looked like a bum. I'd look like a bum, I'd look like I was a vagrant, and so eventually I started just saying, okay, I'm done with it. And by the way, my son is obsessed with having a beard.
Okay.
He's like me, unfortunately, where he could grow a goatee.
So he has what we call a Van Dyke.
What's that?
It's just a certain style of beard where it's prominent mustache because he's got a killer mustache. Yeah. And then it's the soul patch and around the chin.
Yeah. And you get a nice little goatee point.
Yeah. And you can do, chops, but and that's how I was.
Okay.
The in between the chops and the goatee, nothing. I had nothing for most of my life, And so he still has hope, you think?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it'll come in.
It took me into my 40s, so it might be
patient.
Be patient. Do we have any questions that you think are proper?
Let me.
It's so much harder without super chats. I got to be honest with you.
Yeah,
'Cause
so-
it's like there's like everyone's just chatting away.
Yeah.
For sure. I haven't seen any questions yet, but I did see a bunch of people shouting out to Dan and saying like awesome to see you on the channel. So that's really cool.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, this guy says, what's going on, Dan C? Super cool to see our good friend on a podcast.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Anna says, can ball pythons eat raw chicken breast or should I stick to rodents? I'm not having any problems with feeding rodents, but I'm concerned when traveling.
Yeah, definitely stick with rodents. I don't even know if a ball python would eat a chicken.
It's funny. I was thinking the same thing the other day, just randomly.
I just think it would just like snub it. Ball pythons are pretty, you may know, ball pythons are pretty finicky.
Okay.
And then let me ask you that, like how did you, so I know your son Maddox loves reptiles.
Yes.
Is that how you found us?
100%. I actually found your channel through my wife, who was researching. He wants to do this. He wants to handle reptiles. He wants to do something, an aquarium, something along this lines. And so we were finding like experiences, and we found this. And then it was like, oh, it's a YouTube channel. Oh my gosh, this is an amazing YouTube channel. And so I started falling in love with the content and the B-roll. And we've come a couple of times and was able to meet you. And we filmed some stuff today and kind of talked about it. But I have never handled a snake in my life before today.
Yeah, you guys will see the footage of Dan. You did good, man. I mean, I tell you what, we definitely threw you into the fire right off the deep end. We didn't pull Lucy out. We could have done that.
Which would be real deep.
That would have been really deep. But you did handle one of our largest snakes. I won't say anything more than that. But it's a heavy snake.
Yeah. Oh, very heavy. Yeah. And it was an interesting feeling getting, once it was off, my body had to like adjust.
Yeah.
It was weird.
It's like walking around with weights on for a while. And all of a sudden, as a matter of fact, I did a TikTok a few days back with that animal on my shoulder. And literally when they first put it on, I had to have him take it off because I ran out of breath. Yeah. Like I was like, I can't do what I'm supposed to do for this TikTok because I'm so out of breath, holding it. And so I had to like regain my composure before
Was that your Halloween one, the costume?
It was not that one. It was a little bit different one. It was one that Noah came up with. And but it's a big, it's crazy to think that there's snakes that big on this planet.
Yeah. It doesn't even make sense. And
that's not even the big. It's going to be bigger. I mean, that's what's crazy.
we met one that was, incredibly big. That Brian couldn't even pick up like a segment of the body.
I went to a place where there was a snake where, like Jay said, I could not get it off the ground. Like literally, I couldn't. And we're talking.
And Brian's
like the first,
strong, dude.
Like the first half of the snake, I couldn't pick up. And I can deadlift a pretty good amount. And I was just like, listen. When you hold 100-pound snake, like I can go to the gym and deadlift or squat, quite a bit, and but when you have 100-pound snake, it seems like it's 300 pounds,
right?
So I don't know what it is about the dead weight, the distribution. I'm not 100% sure, but so anyways, back to the 2013ish area, the first beard companies kind of came out. What did they do? They just had products. They had.
Yep. So before, and people have used different things for their beards for literally the beginning of time. We have the Aborigines were using emu and ostrich oil.
Yeah.
Wow. And then we have Northern Africa is using argan oil and all this stuff all around the world. And I'm a history teacher, so I love the history of it.
Wow, that's really cool.
And then kind of in the UK, they started to put together products for your beard. Right. And it would make it shine, kind of look like a disco ball. It wasn't the best look. And then in the U.S., we had a couple of companies come out with beard oil, beard balm, beard butter, and one is actually local. Detroit Grooming started in 2013. Okay, they were one of the first. Wow, that's awesome. Probably one of the biggest is called Honest Amish. You can find them at like Walmart and different things.
Really?
And they started locally in Pennsylvania. And
were they Amish or were they?
I don't know. I don't know the origin. I don't want to say.
Honestly, Amish, you never know.
Definitely not, because they are. They have,
now they're driving around Ferraris.
They have scaled at a large mass. So you can get Honest Amish in India. I mean, any store. They're huge, and they've done it the right way. Their products are still amazing, still inexpensive. So they started coming out with these products to make it like feel better, look better, smell better, and we've seen this massive boom in the last kind of 2 or 3 years of these small batch companies turning into large revenue companies to, I mean, millions and millions of dollars worth of revenue every year.
Now, what do these products do? You know, like as a guy that has no idea, take me through like what is what is an oil? What is what is this?
So the basis of, we all produce sebum oil. That's what makes like your hair greasy and if you're into showering. Here's kind of like an experiment you could do. If you go a week without showering, your head hair is going to turn very greasy, very nasty. Your beard, though, is going to dry out and feel like hay and straw.
Yeah,
and essentially what happens is the sebum oil is drawn away from your face, and you produce less on your beard as you do your head hair. So the oil that you use for beard oil is going to replace that sebum oil that you don't have.
Right.
So it's going to prevent, a lot of guys kind of get rid of their beard after a month or two because it starts to itch and it doesn't feel right. That beard oil is going to stop the itch. It's going to just kind of make it feel softer. That. Yes. And then you have like beard wash, which is really important. It's just like a shampoo, but designed for your facial hair.
So you don't use shampoo?
No, shampoo, it's just a different environment on your scalp. You got about 5 times as many hair follicles up there and more grease. So you want something that's a little bit softer, a little bit more designed for your face. And you use that, and then you can use like beard butter to help style it and help it smell better and get a little bit softer. There's a whole rabbit hole.
Yeah, and you were telling me that there's like oils that have different smells and you know, so what is the ideal, like as a beard connoisseur?
Yeah.
What is the ideal beard like? I mean, first off, I'm imagining you go places and get like constantly comment. I mean, you're like, you know, it's like if you're 7'2", people are like, oh my God, you're tall. People have to be like, oh my God, that's a great beard. It's got to be like just relentless.
I mean, I went to a gas station before here and the lady said, that's the best groomed beard I've ever seen.
Sally.
And I'm like, oh, thank you. And so they were super, and it was, next door. Super kind lady.
Yeah, if you would have talked to Brandon after the Michigan loss, he would have probably pulled your beard hair out.
He'd be like, don't even look at me. I haven't even seen the end yet, but I know we lost.
Yeah.
But I would say the kind of best characteristics of a beard is, I like to call it a purposeful beard. I think there's a big difference of, I stopped shaving and I started growing a beard.
Okay.
And it's just the idea of kind of trimming it and maintaining it, making sure it doesn't look all, I would say, Castaway, like, you know, everyone knows Tom Hanks' beard in the video.
Yeah, of course.
And just making it look purposeful, whether it's a shorter, what we call like business beard, or a longer beard. They're all great, but I just like it to look intentional rather than just kind of lazy.
Yeah, well, that's good, because I do see a lot of beards that are just look like like you just got off the, you know,
like you said, you just stopped shaving.
That's, and speaking of stop shaving, we've got No Shave November starts on Monday.
Perfect time for this podcast.
And it is the perfect thing. So I've got some products here. You brought me some products.
And
what do we have? We have snake venom bar soap. So this is the soap you use.
Yeah. So this was in no way, I had no idea it would be on here. So it's not a product push or anything, but some of my favorites. This is a company called Whiskey and Hardtack. They're out of Pennsylvania. And they actually started as like a soap and body making company and have shifted their parent company over to beard stuff. And so they have one of my favorite scented beard oils. It's kind of like an invigorating, fresh, like nice, refreshing mint kind of scent. And so they call it snake venom, and it's been out for a couple years now. And so I was like, this is perfect. I had
for the snake guy.
Yeah, I was like, I have some brand new ones. So it's a bar soap that you can use on your beard or your whole body, and then the beard oil that I would recommend for your beard, just a couple drops in your hand after every shower.
Interesting. Okay, cool. Yep. And then what else do I got?
I just grabbed a random brush here. Yeah. Ooh, that's for a beard your length. This is a perfect brush for you to go through. And it's so that's a boar's bristle brush.
Boar's bristle. Yeah, and that's from an actual boar.
Yeah. Almost all of them are, yes.
Really?
And so those make for the best ones. And there are vegan options out there. They can make them from like cactus fibers and stuff.
Well, you can take hair from a boar without killing it.
Exactly.
Like
and it just falls out.
And that's a whole nother topic that I think you'll be able to relate to in a minute here, thinking of like animals and stuff. And then the last thing is a comb. And this is kind of two companies. One's called Chicago Combs, and they make this. It's actually a carbon fiber comb.
Okay.
And so it's heat resistant. It can go in the shower. It doesn't have any problems. And if you just like slide open there. And this one's from Beard Octane, which is another company I've flown out to Connecticut and spent time with the owner and stuff. Just awesome.
Nice.
Is it nice?
So,
show the camera.
Nice,
Pick
man.
it up a little bit. Look at that. Bam.
That thing will cut you. I'll cut a bitch. With
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's so cool.
And so yeah, those are kind of the foundation. There's a bunch of other stuff that's really nice, like conditioner and butters and stuff. But the two most important products would be to wash your beard and then to use oil and then to groom it with like a comb or a brush.
Yeah. So let me can we can pull some stuff up, right?
Yeah, of course.
I need you to rate this beard. Yeah, go Brent Burns.
Oh, stop.
Yeah, I want you to rate this beard.
Okay.
Because I think it looks a little scraggly. I love him. I love Burnsy. He's a great guy, but it looks a little bit scraggly.
Oh yeah.
He needs a little grooming, maybe.
So he is teammates with Joe Thornton, correct?
Exactly. Yeah.
So Joe Thornton, I just did a video recently, the best celebrity beards, and Joe Thornton made that list. So I'm sorry, Mr.
He
Burns.
shaved his beard recently.
I know.
Joe. Yeah.
I know. And he.
Oh, it is a good.
Joe's been here, by the way.
Yes, and they highlighted him on a UFC fight recently, and then he shaved it right after.
And so that's a good beard. Joe's beard's considered a good
Hall
beard.
of Fame, and if you see that,
look at the bush on that sucker,
it's
man.
thick. It's thick,
and we love volume. We
It's
love
got body.
like
because it's the hard part to get.
exactly,
You know,
and the color is just. That's like how you look at snakes' colors, like, and you have your hatchings, and you're like, oh, this rainbow and stuff. To us, I'm like, oh my goodness.
look at the different strains of colors, man.
Yeah, like that.
Jumbo's a great guy. They call him Jumbo.
Okay.
Jumbo's a great guy, by the way. Good dude, man. I mean,
He
one of
seems
the
like
nicest dudes. I'll tell you a quick story about
Large
Jumbo.
human, right?
He's like 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah.
That's why they call him Jumbo. And big dude, super sweet person. And so the first time he ever came to my place, because Burnsy keeps snakes and he's an animal guy, and I've known Burnsy since he was a rookie and way before his beard and stuff like that. And Burnsy's, by the way, just an amazing human being too.
Cool.
Very, very cool
I'll have
guy.
to connect with him.
Oh my gosh, seriously, I can connect you with Burnsy.
Please
He
do.
would love it because he loves his beard, and that's kind of his thing, right?
Yeah.
Because when you go to San Jose for a game, everyone has the fake beard, like fear the beard, you know what I mean, type of thing with Burnsy because he's one of the most popular players. And Thornton was a super popular player as well. I think like Burnsy and Thornton were like the two main guys, but then of course he just, listen, Thornton just got older. But the first time he got there, he was not, so Thornton is afraid of snakes. So he would come, and it was actually Thornton, Marlowe, who's another legend in hockey, and my buddy Burnsy. They would come when they were in town. They would hang out. First time they were here for probably 3 hours, and Burnsy's like looking at everything. Marlowe, by the way, which was not a snake guy, although I've now sold his kid a couple snakes, by the way.
Nice.
But
Conversion.
Really nice guy. This dude had literally ice in his blood. I mean, like I've never, dude, never been around snakes his life.
Yeah.
I'd open up a cage of like a striking snake, and it would come like inches from him, and he wouldn't move. Dang. He just wouldn't even move. I mean, it was like, I was like, dude, you're about to get bit.
Yeah.
And you just don't even move.
No problem.
You know what I mean? I think it's like, what they say about professional. And by the way, you have some professional athlete history.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that in a little bit too with your grandpa. But they say that they see everything in slow motion, right? Yeah. And so maybe
he measured it.
Yeah, maybe he just knew like I'm still safe. But anyway, so Joe kept on being Patrick Marlowe handled snakes. Burnsy had a bunch, so he loved all this stuff.
Cool.
And he's been to my place tons and tons of times. I mean, we've been on vacation with Burnsy and stuff like that. So he's a great guy. But Joe wouldn't hold a snake. And then finally, hours later, we're sitting on a couch, we're talking, and Jumbo goes, let's go. I'm done. And so he runs out, and literally we pull out like an 18-foot snake. Now, it was Burnsy, Marlowe, and Thornton.
Okay.
But he literally pulls he does like the kid thing. No. He pulls his sleeve over his hands, so he's not actually touching the snake. But he did get a picture with the snake. And so we since he's been here a couple times, and I've been out to dinner with him a bunch of times. Super cool. Nice guy. Joe's a great guy. And he told me a story, probably shouldn't repeat it on live, but I'll tell you anyways. It's when you come into the league, you're always a fourth liner, right? So there's 4 lines in hockey. Yep. Starting line is the first line. That's like you're the best of the best. Fourth line is usually where you come into hockey. You come into hockey, and he's I remember saying he was like 43 at the time. A couple years ago, and he's still playing. He's like, goes, you know what, Brian? I came in as a fourth liner. I'm leaving as a fourth liner.
Yeah, that's
he's
what
like,
I'm talking about.
Take me out.
He's like, I'm not stopping until they make me. I don't even know if he's playing this year. Do you have any idea?
I don't know.
I know last year he was on, back in Toronto.
Yep.
I don't know if he got a deal this year or not. Because he was definitely getting. I mean, he's like 45 or something.
So
like
he had
that
to
now.
play 12, 13 years at
Oh,
least.
it's way more. It's like 20 something years. Yeah. How long? Say Joe Thornton. How long was Joe Thornton in the NHL?
Yeah, you got it.
I mean, I bet you 20 plus season because I think he was like 18, 19 when he came into the league.
That's amazing.
He was like a phenom. Like he was one of the best. He was like first pick in the draft. I mean, type of guy,
his beard is world regarded as one of the best.
Yeah, 23 seasons.
Oh my
dude.
goodness.
Wow.
23 seasons, man. Is he on a team now?
Let me see.
It's Joe Thornton.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, 23 seasons,
like,
man.
Like NFL, the average playing career is like 3 years.
Yeah, 2 to 3 years. Yeah, it's So is he playing
Signed
now?
a 1-year deal Friday, making Florida his fourth franchise
Wow.
So
in a
he's in Florida
24-year NHL career.
Good for him, man. I'm glad.
Crushing it,
And he's
dude.
still, I mean, he definitely doesn't, watching him, he was a great player.
Yeah.
I'm not just a good player, but
enforcer,
a
yeah.
great player. And he doesn't have that speed that he used to have, but
Right.
he's still super smart.
But also
And,
the kids coming up now
a
are just a
veteran, yeah.
different level of
Yeah.
of finesse, I guess.
Yeah.
They're more like
Yeah.
soccer players
Yeah.
than hockey, you know?
Yeah, but
crazy.
so back to Burnsy.
Yeah.
What, you tell me what you said about his beard.
He's got a great
Yeah.
beard. Yeah, it's kind of the more rustic, kind of
Yeah,
lumberjack
it is
style.
It is
Yeah.
lumberjacky, right?
Yeah.
What could he do to better it? Let's see that picture again.
Hey, so we have a phrase. We say, rock what you got, right? No matter what you have, rock what you got.
I just want to bust his balls when I see him. I mean, look at a couple of these pictures of
Yeah,
this dude, man.
I
This
like the
dude's
teeth one.
The teeth.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's
there.
a good one, man.
That's a good photo.
I fucking
he's
love
got-
this
he's
guy.
got a
I go
great
out to
beard.
dinner with this dude, and he fucking doesn't ever have teeth on, and it is hilarious, man.
It is
Look at-
funny.
he's Chewbacca, man. I mean, the
Yeah.
dude's, so does he need a little trim? He
I'd,
needs
gi-
a-
I, if it, yeah, I'd give him a little trim around the outside. We call it like a transparency trim, like you see on his beard, where it's real dark and thick in the middle,
Right,
and
and
then
then it
kind of a
gets
little thinner.
transparent,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That's all I would
the
do.
shading. He's got a little shading
Yeah,
going on there.
take
Yep.
away a little bit of that.
Yep. No, it goes well with his teeth. I like it.
He's a dude, one of my favorite people
That's
on the
awesome.
planet. I mean, he's a super good guy, and he's just a fun guy.
Cool.
I mean, we talk about lumberjacks. We went axe throwing. Have you ever been axe throwing?
I see it everywhere. Everybody
I feel like that
posts
would fit in
about
with the
it,
beard
but
too,
I have
man.
not. I know there's a place about halfway between you and I, Auburn Hills. I know
Yeah.
they have a place that does it.
Yeah, there's a bunch of places around here
Okay.
too. So we went last weekend for the first time.
Yeah.
Actually, a week ago Friday, and I won, by the way.
Yeah, I know, dude. I don't want
wanna-
to brag or
I don't wanna
anything.
brag or anything.
I don't know
like
if
that,
Lori's out there
It
listening,
was
but
my
Brian,
it was
whoa.
my first axe throwing, and I won. And I was, by the way, I started terrible. Like, so there's like, I don't know, there's like round robin where you throw
Okay.
like you throw 5 times 3, so you throw 15. It's like sets of 5. I swear to gosh, the first like 4 round robins I did, I couldn't even stick the axe.
Okay.
And somehow at the end of the round robins,
Found where to
I was
stand.
like the leader, and I was like, how am I the leader? Like it didn't make. So apparently, like when I did stick the axe, I stuck it in the bullseye the most, right, or side.
Yeah.
But then I caught my stride, and then it was
It was off to
like,
the races,
It was
dude.
like, dude, I couldn't miss the bullseye. Like I
just
was
figured
like,
it out.
I was just closing my eyes and it was hitting the bullseye. and they have some. I can't remember what it's called. There's this little green. Have you ever watched? There's like a green dot above the
No.
bullseye. There's this green dot that's like a little tiny green dot above the bullseye.
That we aim for?
And well, if you're the last throw and you're behind, bullseye's 5 points.
Okay.
The green dot is 7 points. So if you're behind by 6, if you hit that bullseye, that green dot, you win.
Okay.
So I even hit that thing, which is crazy, But I mean, I'm not bragging because I'm sure the next time I go out, I will. I'll be like horrible
Yeah.
again. But I did the first axe throwing I ever did was in my backyard with Burnsy. We literally threw axes at my tree for
best, dude.
like 3 hours.
That's cool.
So.
No, I've never done it. I want to. It looks like a great time.
You would think you would because
Yeah.
you fit right in.
Right,
I you
right.
think when you walked in, they would just be like expecting you to
Yeah,
be great.
brother.
And then I'm gonna be terrible.
Yeah, they don't,
Yeah.
you don't disrespect the beard
And I gotta
community.
tell my wife, do not post that.
Yeah, it's like, your following would just go away
Yeah, pretty much,
immediately.
yeah.
So what is the crossover with beards? I mean, so there's genres I'm sure that are
Yeah.
very similar.
Tons. I mean, there's so many. Reptiles I had no idea until I started posting about you. And my first post was just coming here, just on Instagram. Like, oh my gosh, this place is so cool. And they're like, I've been watching Brian for years and this. I'm like, oh, wow, cool. And then you have things like woodworking and metal forging. There's a lot of kind of niche communities that have those overlaps.
Yeah, that would seem. The metal forging I get, but I also think it would be like, man, be scary because
Yeah.
you could burn your beard pretty
Yeah,
easy.
but if you watch Forged in Fire, tons of them have beards.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, we were talking about Forge and Fire. That's a great show, and
Yeah.
it is true. It's and so how about the lumberjacking isn't in there? Or
No, I don't
Like,
really
they
hear
have,
anything
like,
about
Is there
that.
a lot of
you would
lumberjacks
think
these
that-
days?
Yeah,
it
right.
just seems like, well, yeah. I mean, I watch those lumberjack
Competitions,
Yeah,
yeah.
come on now. I don't know if they have beards. Maybe they don't have beards, but you always think of I guess you think of like Amish and lumberjacks.
That's it. Dude.
Yeah.
That's like your beard
We
guys,
get
right?
so we get Duck Dynasty and ZZ Top. Those are
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of
I
the
could
top.
see ZZ Top.
yeah,
top two
ZZ Top.
things.
Those were iconic. The
Yeah.
one guy died, right?
Yeah,
Recently,
just this
yeah.
last year. Yep.
And were they brothers? Do you know? Weren't they brothers or
I
something?
don't
like that?
know.
I don't know. I could look at that
But
up.
yeah, I thought they were. I should know this, but I thought that the guys were brothers, the two main guys.
Yeah, those are the two most common. Going for Duck Dynasty, going ZZ Top. Those are what we get, almost in
yeah.
like a jabbing kind of way.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, the one was Hill, but I don't know.
Rocky Hill. Yeah,
it
his
says
brother
brother,
Rocky Hill. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I thought they were brothers.
Yeah. And the guy and the drummer's name is Frank Beard, which is crazy.
Yeah,
Weird,
that
huh?
up.
Like,
Government
and
name.
apparently now they've replaced the Dusty guy that
Okay.
passed away. They replaced like
With a
his
beard?
His guitar, his guitar tech had a beard as well, and now
Okay.
so they're out on tour. They just were in Detroit. You
Oh,
know,
good.
they were just in
That's
Detroit
awesome.
actually. I mean, I didn't go obviously, but yeah, the whole Duck Dynasty was an interesting thing too because they kind of made beards pretty popular
Yeah,
as well.
definitely.
And then I think what was the son's name? One of the main characters, not Cy and not his whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But he shaved his beard off, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
so he's beardless or small.
Willie was
Yeah,
one
Will.
of the sons.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Or the other, I think it was Willie was the one. Then the other, I don't know who it was. But
Yeah.
anyways, but did you ever know like how that show started?
No.
So it's an interesting thing. Duck Dynasty was actually originally a show on. It was actually, I think, Sportsman TV, which
Okay.
then turned into Versus TV, that turned now into NBC Sports. So that's like the it's the
Okay.
same channel.
Yeah.
It was like an outdoor network type thing, and they had a show called Duck Commander on there for one season. They also, prior to that, had a YouTube channel called Duck Commander. Of course, that's their
Yeah.
company name,
It's
right?
the calls,
Yeah,
right?
the calls, right?
Yep.
And so they had a pretty popular YouTube channel, landed them one season as Duck Commander on this outdoor, I think it was called OLN, Outdoor Life Network. I
Okay.
think it was called OLN. And then they canceled them. And then they started pitching this show, Duck Dynasty, about more of a reality-based show.
Yeah.
And a production company called Gurney Productions picked it up, tried to sell it, couldn't sell it. Finally, A&E TV bought it, and then they shelved it for an entire year. It started out with they were supposed to be like a poor family living in trailers,
Okay.
and they were into hunting.
Yeah.
And then they turned them into a rich family, which kind of what they are.
Right, right.
And then they rolled. And even after they decided to do that, it took them a year before they started production because they weren't sure it was going to be a successful show. And then it turned out to be the #1 show on cable for like 2.5 or 3 seasons. So it shows you how little the TV networks know about what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah, then they got into some controversy, and then got
yeah.
And a lot of people don't know it. Phil is the main the
Yeah,
the
he's
dad,
the
right?
dad, yeah.
And he was a prolific college quarterback.
Right,
He
yeah,
actually
I saw that. Yeah, yeah. He
started
with
ahead
Terry
of
Bradshaw.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
He
yeah.
started in front of him, which is wild.
Yeah, yeah. Terry Bradshaw was his backup.
Yes, yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
And speaking of sports, so your grandfather, it was a catcher for the Phillies.
Yeah, so he was
that's
he was a sports freak. He was actually an All-American diver in high school and has a college Ferris State. He still holds the basketball single season scoring record.
Oh my goodness.
And this is all it's unreal, but he was his main sport was baseball. So he got drafted out of high school to go to the Philadelphia Phillies. Spent some time in college playing basketball, and then decided, okay, let me take this up on that because the baseball draft is crazy. You know, like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Yankees still draft Russell Wilson every year,
Yeah,
hoping
exactly.
he's going to come over.
Yeah.
So he goes to the Phillies, spends years in the minors. He gets called up, and they're actually going against the Brooklyn Dodgers. Jackie Robinson in the outfield, and
my
then
gosh.
a borderline Hall of Famer Carl Erskine was on the mound.
Yep.
And so it was the end of the game, bases loaded. They pinch hit my grandfather, James Command.
What?
And they call the pitcher out to the pitching coach out to the mound. They're like, "What do you got on this guy?" They're like, "Nothing. I have no idea who he is." And then literally word for word, they said, "Screw it, pitch to him." And when my grandfather passed away a few years ago, they sent a bat that had that quote etched into it for his funeral.
Oh my gosh!
And so I pitched to him, grand slam, first hit in the MLB was a grand slam. He was the first person to ever do that.
Damn, that is crazy.
And so literally over Jackie Robinson's head. And it was different world back then. You could have had a baseball card or a set of golf clubs. And my grandpa took the set of golf clubs. So they've since went back and like remade cards for him. And he then went on coaching. He coached Grand Valley to their first ever national championship.
Wow.
And then he has the 84 World Series ring because he was a scout and coach for the Detroit Tigers on 84. So it's got our last name on it. And is since he's passed, it's like one of our family heirloom type things. Yep.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that is badass.
That is wild.
I mean, it's unbelievable. It's
cool. That's cool to have that heritage. I mean, it's especially with the story with Jackie Robinson.
Yeah, that's beautiful,
and just,
man.
I mean, first pitch, first time at the plate, and that is interesting with the MLB, different than the other sports.
Totally,
because like you said. You could be drafted. You could be in the NFL. You could be, in the NBA, and they're still drafting you to them. And very few guys are ever make it. You know what I mean? Like it's such a long road to the majors in baseball compared to any other sport.
And baseball's rare where usually the best player isn't selected first because the team knows like we can't even sign him, so we're gonna go for somebody else. It's a totally different. And they have like
system,
12 rounds of draft, something crazy.
It's so stupid. Yeah, and like you said, interesting enough, right down the street from us, we have a little stadium.
Beautiful.
Have you seen it?
And you threw out the first pitch,
yeah,
right?
That's right. Yeah, it's amazing. And I guess they said that I think 21 kids that have played there have played in, or at least been signed to MLB.
Yeah,
and one is a starting pitcher.
No way.
on some.
And
team.
so it's and I looked this up because I saw the stadium and it's beautiful. I mean, you drive by and it's like, whoa. So it's a professional baseball league, but separate from
it's
any.
It's not a minor league at all. It's not. There's no association.
Because we have like the Loons, the Midland Loons and stuff like that, and the White Caps over on the other side. So this is just its own professional league.
It's its own professional league that I think is made up of like 8 teams or something like that.
Now, do those players have careers, and this is something they do on the side?
So they get paid $800 a month.
Okay,
that's what they get paid. They get paid $800, and none of them work. They work off season and whatever jobs they can. But most of them are not local. Most of them come in, and they, as a matter of fact, we had a couple families that have been in here that have told us about it that actually sponsor the player.
Okay,
so they live with their rent free. They give them food and everything like that because they're only making $200 a week.
Yeah, of course.
And but yeah, they play ball and that's all they do.
We have something very similar in Flint. It's the Flint Firebirds, the hockey team. It's a pro hockey team. Same thing. It's not like associated with a team. Yep. But the same thing, they have players, like our town, they send out stuff like who wants to host this, and it's usually 19 to 22-year-olds, and same thing, they're hoping to find a path to the league. And it's, super interesting.
If you have a 19-year-old daughter, do not host that player. I'm telling you, that's going to not turn out well.
I can tell you that.
Going to have grandchildren. Because they have a lot of testosterone going on in that room. So,
True.
Any other questions? I mean, I know it's hard without Super.
I just made a comment. I'll say it right now, too.
Brian
Wait, where is it? Sorry?
What does this say? It
says Brian is such a liar.
What does it mean?
That was because you won at the game. I'm guessing
axe throwing.
I beat Lori. Oh, I beat Lori, and she was mad.
Yeah, she was.
She was mad.
Bearded Joey says Dan has his own set of axes. Is this true, or is he making up lies?
That's my buddy Joey Hookham. I think. No, I do not have axes.
There is a lot of bearded fellas in this lobby right now. I'll tell you that.
No, I do have a custom knife that a guy named Rob made me, but no axe. I actually had a machete, and my wife got rid of it. She did not trust me with it.
You need to have a machete.
She literally got rid of it.
Everyone's got to have a machete.
Yeah, I got 3 in my car.
I was so upset.
Yeah, so. I travel with my machete too.
Yeah, and a tomahawk.
Yeah, and it's
smart. It's smart.
I get pulled over. I'm like, I was just
no. Listen, I like to throw axes.
Right.
And I got
to carve a path.
At
the axe place, it was funny. You had like some people that were obviously, listen, I don't want to disparage anybody.
No,
you know what I
disparage
mean?
them.
But there were some people in there that took it far too seriously.
right.
I mean, they had like these like
It was like a league?
like armor on, this armor stuff on.
Set
them.
approach.
Oh,
Yeah,
they LARPed it.
And some people literally like came with their own axes.
Oh yeah.
They came with their own axes.
Yeah, this
and-
is incredible.
pool cues.
So
Yeah. Casilla also asked Brian, how are Denny and Dixie's eggs doing?
Not as well as I'd hope.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to make it.
No,
Yeah, I think
I didn't know that.
we're going to lose them. They lasted for a while, but it looks like it's going downhill, unfortunately. So
Also, like what I was gonna say is, if you guys do have questions, just tag at checking in so I can find them easier. So
yeah,
that's
that's
perfect.
actually a great thing. Instead of do that, just hit the at checking in, like Simple Man did. I saw that, and a couple other people. So if you do that, that way we can get some questions in here too. It'd be a little bit better.
I do have
but-
to say, Brian, you have a beard when somebody makes a Barbie version of you and
With stubble.
includes the facial
The
hair.
stubble,
So
stubble.
That's
well,
iconic.
so I've never made it through November.
Okay.
So I think that Jay I did it last year. No?
Yeah,
I think I do it almost every year.
I think so, but last year was a weird year. So
Last year was a weird.
I don't really remember.
Actually, to be honest with you, of course, I bet.
I wonder
did
if you
not
didn't
do it,
because I
yes.
feel like you wouldn't have wanted to have it on your face or something. But I don't remember.
Yeah, last year was
I
I had
remember.
a lot of anxiety issues.
Yeah, I remember the video.
Yeah, I had a very
Yeah,
bad
no
anxious
shave
year.
November Monday. It's a real special for the beard community, and
Heck yeah,
if anybody doesn't know, it's based on men's health awareness and kind of getting rid of the stigma of being like, "Hey, I'm too tough to go to the doctor," and especially with prostate cancer, getting checked because early detection literally can change your
Difference,
life.
Yes, between life or death.
Yeah, my
exactly.
sister, she works at Northwestern Hospital, but her boyfriend's in medical school, and he had to be 22, 23 years old, and he was diagnosed with testicular cancer at 22 or 23 years old.
Damn.
Found it, done, good, easy, good to go.
Yeah.
But that early detection probably saved his life.
Yeah.
And so that's the whole thing is to bring that, whether it's No Shave November or Movember, which is the mustache version.
yeah.
So it really is important for us to get that message out there. But then also a lot of people grow a beard and they're like, okay, I kind of like this. Now what can I do?
I think that's what happened to Bernsey. I think he did the No Shave November, and
like,
then it was
I
just
mess with
on
this,
it was
yeah.
just forever. Obviously hockey players do the beard thing
Playoff
during
beards.
playoffs,
Yep.
but I think it started in November for him, and it just kept on. And I like I said, I think last year I didn't because, like you said, I had so much anxiety. Life was a blur last year, but I think every year before that, over the last maybe 6 or 7 years, I've done it. I don't think I've made it till the end.
Now, is it the itch that gets you, or
I
what?
think it is, and that's now explained why I
Yeah.
can get away with that. Get away from
Get
that.
some extra oils
Yeah,
in there.
get some oils in there and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, also, I'm at that age where, my facial hair is much grayer than
Yeah.
my.
I think it looks very
We
nice.
love it. Like it's coveted. Like
Yeah,
when you
it
have gray hair. Yeah.
gray is like
I'm all about it.
All right. Yeah. So I just feel like I look much older. Now I don't shave ever.
Okay.
I just like
Buzz it.
I buzz it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I buzz it because I like a little stubble. I just don't like I don't know why. I stopped doing it maybe it's probably been 5 years.
I think every guy should have at least a little stubble. I think it's just such a strange look to just be bald. It's like naked mole rat looking face.
I used to do it all the time. I mean, but I gave that up years ago.
Yeah.
That looks
think
nice.
It was probably 7-8 years ago since I think I've shaved one time.
Okay.
Actually one time in the last 7 or 8 years.
Yeah, I always say between 5 o'clock shadow and midnight shadow is where I want to be usually. But now I've grown a beard for a little bit, but I used to just do a little bit longer than Brian's. That's it.
But my 5 o'clock shadow is 5-day shadow. If I shaved today, I wouldn't have stubble for probably 3-4 days.
Okay.
I'm very slow growing.
Yeah.
Beard. Although it's picking up, it might be different now.
Right.
Because I noticed even my buzz, I used to just buzz it once a week.
Yeah.
And now I have to do it twice a week.
Yeah.
So it's kind of picking
And all
up.
the healthy habits help with growth. Like a lot of guys just use dial soap on their beards, and that's awful, terrible for your beard, and can really stunt the growth. And using proper things, it's not a miracle. There's nothing that's gonna be chia pet, and people are like, how do I fill these patches in? And it's like, well, to be honest, there's nothing really, just patience and healthy habits. But all of the things added together really does help.
So what are the myths? Because I know that Noah when he was like all into beard, like people were telling him to rub onion on his face.
None of them work.
None of them work. So what are the most prominent myths that are just complete garbage?
Oh man, there's so many of them. Here's the biggest one, and this is complete garbage. If you shave your beard, it'll grow back faster or thicker.
I've heard that a lot.
I've heard that my whole life.
Yeah, and it's just not true. Your hair grows from the base. So if there's
follicles,
doing something to the end, it has nothing to do with it.
Right.
And essentially what it is your hair, as it grows out, it gets thinner.
Right.
And so when you shave it, the shaft is thicker at that portion. So it just appears to look thicker. When all reality is the base of it right now is just as thick. It's just you don't see it as much. And so that's a huge myth. You hear all those other things. There's only a couple things that can actually make hair grow faster, create. One is biotin, which is B7, a vitamin. And that will make your hair grow faster, but it will make all of your hair grow faster.
Right, your nose hair,
all of it.
Your every hair will grow faster.
Your tongue hair is going to be pouring out.
And beard guys, we weren't the first to discover this. Women have been using biotin for generations because it's your hair is called keratin, and it's your nails and your hair. Yep. And so
real strong
when
nails.
when they want to have strong, healthy nails, they take biotin, and so that helps it grow, but it's not going to create any new hair.
I think there's some websites that those chicks have, right? There's some
there's a couple.
There's a OnlyFans or something like that.
And then the other thing is minoxidil, which is Rogaine.
Okay, Rogaine.
And people put that on their face too. So
so now isn't minoxidil though, when you stop using it, it loses like everything that you've gained?
So it's such like a complex like tunnel. I don't know.
That would make sense
on that
though.
one. Yeah, it's
now interestingly enough. So tell me again what the grows your hair on your face and in your head. You said earlier.
Biotin.
No, the earlier the EM.
Oh, DHT.
DHT.
Yeah.
So my understanding is that if you try to add DHT to go bald, it also can cause dysfunction in your member. Have you heard this before?
So no, so DHT is what really comes down to is you have to have enough DHT and you have to be sensitive to DHT.
Yeah.
So there's
because I've heard these. So I know a guy.
Yeah.
Not me because I don't have a hair problem.
I'm trying to think of every bald person you know.
That started using one of the DHT.
So was it a shampoo?
I think
it a pill?
I think it was a pill.
Okay.
He was taking, and he like couldn't use his member anymore.
His willy.
Okay.
Yeah, and can we look that up just to see if that's
What do you want me to look up?
Just like DMT?
Or not DHT.
That's a totally different search.
That'll be a different experience.
DHT. What do they call it? Erectile dysfunction. Yeah, erectile dysfunction. I'm just curious.
Yeah, and a lot of people are the opposite. They try to use DHT blocker to prevent themselves from balding. And
1% of men have been reported to have low libido.
I feel like 1% of men just have low libido.
right.
Yeah,
that's just,
be right.
That's just frank, yeah.
I'm sorry, I got off.
No, it's important stuff we're talking about, dude.
Yeah.
We're trying to help our viewers.
Yeah, we're trying to educate here. We're trying to educate. So interesting. But supplements though, are there supplements?
Yeah, for sure.
Biotin.
Yep. Yep. And overall, the healthier you are for your body, the better. Your hair is almost like an indicator of your health. If you stress more, you're going to shed more. You're going to have unhealthy hair.
That's why
if you don't drink enough water, I drink a gallon of water every day.
Really?
I will not go to bed unless I finish my gallon.
Wow.
That's so important for the health of your skin and your hair.
Yeah.
And pretty much your body's great at prioritizing, right?
Yeah.
If you have hypothermia, it takes away all of your extremities and forces the warmth to your core.
Yeah, right.
Same if you're sick, same if you're stressed. Your hair is not a necessity to live.
Right.
So if your body's going through something, it's like, we don't really need to focus on that hair, and your hair suffers.
Yeah.
So the more healthy you are, the better your hair is going to be. Just there's great things like collagen. A lot of people take collagen peptides. That's great. Biotin, and then just overall, just like a good men's daily vitamin is going to help out your hair immensely.
Now, are there competitions? There has to be.
Yes, huge. We actually have one coming up this Friday in Frankenmuth, Michigan.
You do it?
That's gonna be
I'm a judge. So
yes. So you're like the celebrity judge.
Yeah, I am the judge, for it. So I come in and it's hosted by Detroit
Are you
Grooming.
the Simon Cowell judge or are you the nice judge?
I'm the nice
He's the nice
guy.
judge.
I don't have any mean in me.
I didn't think you did.
No. So we have one coming up. It's
guys
on,
like me come in.
Yeah.
Keep going.
this bullshit.
Yeah.
You're doing a good job. Just keep it up. Come back next year.
Oh yeah, you're like from the British Bake Off.
Yeah.
You're crying.
Right.
You're like, it's just such a beautiful beard.
Yeah. Oh, that was perfect.
Oh my God.
But
Actually,
no,
that's
the
a good one.
competition is a whole huge. So there's all these niche communities. Like the minoxidil community is probably, believe it or not, the biggest. It is
Really?
massive,
Damn,
massive.
that's crazy.
And
So
they
is
don't-
that like PEDs? Like,
Yeah,
you know, it's
yeah,
like, you know,
it's a
so
drug.
when you're on, it's a different separate thing.
Yeah,
Like if
and-
you're on
and they-
minoxidil, you can't compete with the naturals.
Well, minoxidil is usually for like patchy beards that are trying to like get theirs better. Like minoxidil is not going to do anything for my beard,
Right.
But they like don't like the beard world because it's like you got it easy, you don't know what we go through. Kind of thing.
no.
So that's a whole community. Then you have the beard community, and then you have the competition community, which is on the opposite side. Like mine is guys that care about their grooming, care about how they look and the health. The competition side usually is genetic freaks. Like they could do absolutely nothing and their beard's just going to be fantastic.
right.
Like they literally use like hairspray, which is alcohol based and terrible for your beard,
Right.
but they just get away with it because they have fantastic
And where do you fit in
genes.
that?
I'm in the middle.
You're in the middle, okay.
Yeah, I don't have the craziest genes of all time, but I don't need minoxidil or anything like that. So I'm right where I like to be with my market. And so I don't go in any of the competitions, but I've judged tons and tons of them. But there's pretty much every weekend there's a really big competition and they have a whole league and stuff. I mean, they
Oh my gosh.
they just had
That's really
nationals
cool.
in Scranton, Pennsylvania that was really, really big, and there's a world competition every year. So
Yeah,
it's
we know the
huge.
guy that won the best mullet of the year.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah,
an
we
important
know.
one.
Yeah, that's an important one.
What if there's any
In,
crossover?
from Bridge Street Exchange? Was that the
I don't know where it was from.
okay? Because a
but
local place in Fenton, Michigan, they hosted the mullet competition, and I actually was an entry last year and a judge that helped out, and they got.
so you had a mullet?
I did.
And where did that go? Why did you bless us with that
Oh
sucker?
man, I
know
loved
a
it.
mullet
I loved
and the
it.
beard like that.
I
Can
couldn't
you
even
imagine?
look at him this
And I'm
whole
sure
time.
You'd have to just be like pushing the women away at that point. Yeah.
And that was probably why my wife wasn't
Yeah, it's
comfortable
like,
with
makes
it.
sense.
yeah,
That makes
get rid of the
sense.
mullet.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
this year they got on ESPN Ocho for
yeah.
the competition. So yeah, it's actually Fenton, Michigan, which is about
Okay.
45
He
minutes
may have
north
been.
of
The guy is from Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay, no.
And,
oh,
his
the
name-
winner?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Big Rich is his name.
Okay.
And he's a fish guy. Pull up Big Rich. You got to pull Big Rich up
Yeah.
from Ohio Fish Rescue. You got to see this guy's
And
mullet.
I'm sure it's the same one. And they had like a kids category that they did too. It was really cool.
yeah. So here we go. Here's.
Does he have a beard too?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Because
I
a lot
can't
of them
remember.
rock the beard and then, the pit viper shades.
Let's see.
There she goes.
Look at this.
Wow.
There she blows. Oh, and he's had it for a minute too. Look at this.
Wow.
It's a mullet.
there he
It's
is.
a mullet, man.
There's our man.
Wow.
It's good. It's
That's
good.
real good.
Oh man, and he's a character.
We went swimming in that pool, by the way. That big pool.
I saw
there.
that video,
That's
yep.
super cool. So
Some
Big
like
Rich is-
arapimas in there and
Yeah,
stuff.
it's got arapimas.
Yeah.
It's got platinum gars. I mean, just all kinds of really cool
Oh no,
stuff.
I watch all the content.
Yeah, so
I
it's
love
awesome.
it.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah. So so when did you start growing your beard?
So funny story. I started growing. I was able to grow, and I think everyone's been through this phase in their life. I started growing a nasty, disgusting chin strap.
Okay.
So down from the ears, just on the bottom chin.
Yeah, dude.
And I was a freshman in high school, and I'll never
Oh, wow.
forget it. I went to get
Sheesh.
in the car to go to try.
Freshman in high school.
Yeah, so-
Jeez.
Yeah, that's real early. That's
I
real
went to
early.
try out for the basketball team. My dad was like, "What the hell's on your face?" And I was like, "It's a beard. I'm trying to look older. It's cool." And he was like, "No, not in my house." And he was like, "Get rid of it or don't come home," kind of thing. I was
Wow,
like, "Okay."
he's
So I
strict.
got rid of it, and then I kept a soul patch. So I kept just under my lip throughout high school, and I would grow my hair
Just to
out
rebel a little
just
bit.
a little bit. And I was like, "It's not a beard." And so then out of high school, I was like, "You know what, Dad? I'm growing my beard. I'm out of high school now." And so I started growing my beard, and then I always kept kind of a short stubble beard through college. And then I met my wife, and when I interviewed for teaching, I buzzed it down real short, but didn't shave. And then a couple of years go by into teaching and stuff, and it's actually what birthed the channel. My wife was like, "Hey, like you love taking care of your beard. Have you thought about growing it longer?" Which is so rare. Normally wives are complaining about it and trim and shave it. And I was like, "Oh no." And so I started growing the beard, and then she was actually the inspiration behind the channel. I was
that's
watching a
awesome.
video, and I'll never forget it. 3.5 years ago, she was massaging my shoulders, and she was like,
You got a good
"Why-"
woman there.
Yeah, oh, the best.
Yeah.
And I was like, and she was like, "Why don't you try making a channel? I think you'd be really good at it." And then for me, I like being good at things. So I was like, oh, you think I'd be good at it? Okay. And so the next day I had my first video up. And
Wow,
then
that quick. It was just
That's
like, all right,
awesome.
the
let's,
next day.
let's
I know.
go.
I hear like content creators and they're like, I planned for a year, and I had imposter syndrome, and I had this and that. And I was like, I just turned on the camera and started talking.
It's the best way to do it.
I think that's the way it goes. I mean, we did the same thing where we didn't really have much planning. It was just like, let's go.
Yeah.
And that's how it still is. And you have, 50K?
So my goal is I have a live stream on Monday. Every Monday I'm live at 9 p.m. My goal is to hit 50K on November 1st.
Oh, that's right, because you were 700 behind, right?
So
let's try to get you
guys, help
50K. Yeah, let's get.
To do it on the first day of No Shave November would be unbelievable. That would be great, so I'm about 600 away right now, and
600 away.
I think there's a chance.
Everyone here that would watch this, please go subscribe.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Let's get you there as quick as I can. That would be amazing. Because that's cool. And so, how is the community with each other? I mean, it's a real supportive community.
Very. It's an unbelievably supportive community. There's the content creators are very close. We have Facebook groups. We've got Instagram is kind of our main platform other than YouTube. And then, of course, like any community, there is some little drama and jealousy and poking and stuff like that. When I watch your podcasts and stuff, I really see the similarities there. Like I remember a recent one where you talked about the venomous community and the non-venomous community. I was like, oh my gosh, yes, I know exactly what you're talking about, where there's... Yeah,
well, people just love it. I mean, there's always going to be drama queens no matter what you do.
Yep.
And I wish that, the reptile community was, it's tight-knit in one way, but it's backstabbing in the other way. And I don't know. There's not a lot of, and I use this very vaguely, but there's not a lot of reptile people that really encourage other reptile people to, it's like we talked about before, I even the people I don't like, I don't want to see fail.
Yeah, same.
I mean, it doesn't help me to see other people fail. Right. And I just soon everyone do well. Even when I look at a channel that I'm like, oh my God, they're crushing and they shouldn't because I know the truth behind something. It's like, I don't look at them in jealousy. I go, good for them, man. They're crushing. They should crush. And the fact is if they crush, that may ultimately, come back to me anyways, because as maybe I'm a suggested video.
Yeah, the hobby grows, right?
100%.
Yeah, and I think that's the one problem with, and I wonder if the beard community has the same thing, is that like you have these people that are like very inclusive, like they don't want to grow. They're like, hey, we're the originators. 100%. We want it to be just us.
So this is what I call it. I call it the radio theory. So this is my theory on it. The people that love a song until it gets played on the radio, and then that same exact song, that same exact artist, they adamantly hate now because it became mainstream.
Yeah, what was the one band that everyone loves to hate?
Nickelback, of course.
Yeah.
Giant band. Everyone sung their songs.
And their music is not that bad.
No,
it just became a thing, And so that's the same kind of thing. I think people like that small knit. I feel like I discovered something, and then once it gets a little bit beyond that, you're a sellout. You're this. You've changed.
You're chill,
and it's like, well, there's just personalities, and that's just how it's going to be. So we do have some of that, of course, but above all, there's just massive support. We have a pretty regimented live stream schedule where one night you have this guy and that guy, and we try to go support each other, and we go on each other's podcasts and stuff. And so, there's a ton of working together and support, and we try to focus on that.
I think that's amazing. Again, I wish the reptile community was more like that.
Yeah.
And that's what we kind of, when we started our podcast, we wanted it to kind of be that way, like where we could, and that's why I told you before the podcast that, we've been having smaller, people that are just starting out on the in the podcast world, or reptile world, I should say, not even podcast world, but trying to give exposure to a platform to people that maybe don't have it, because I want to support everyone. And I had mentioned how the comics seem to be doing such a good job of it, starting with Joe Rogan, and then going through, Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura and just all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just, they're just, they all kind of, support each other. They go on each other's podcasts.
Right.
And I wish it was that way with the reptile people. Now, don't get me wrong. People go on reptile podcasts all the time, but it's always cliquish, it's always still cliquish. And then when you have the main podcasts that are out there, they typically just have the same guests on all the time.
Right.
You know what I mean? They kind of cycle through and they don't have anything new and exciting. And that's why I like sometimes bringing in people that, are just starting out because
Right.
they have that passion about them. They
Yes.
have
Big
that
time.
purity.
They're not
that,
jaded.
Yeah, they're not like, hey, I'm already
Appreciation.
doing. I've been professional for 25 years. And,
Yeah.
because it's like we've all heard that story a million times.
In the Reptile, it doesn't even make sense because there's not even like a competition where literally if somebody's doing well, I can't even think of how it would impact you as compared to other industries where it's sales. Like if he gets the sale, I don't kind of thing. It doesn't even seem like that with Reptile, especially content
maybe the
creation.
breeding side I could see a little bit of that, but the content creation side, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. But you have, I mean, literally, I have some big channels in the reptile world that say that they will not work with me because they think it would hurt their audience.
Yeah.
That they may lose followers if they. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like what does that even mean? And then if I were in that position and I like somebody and it may lose, I would say good riddance.
Right.
I say I work with this guy, and if you don't
100%.
like it, then
There's
goodbye,
the door.
We call that addition by subtraction.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, you want loyal, great followers. You don't want people that at the drop of a dime will walk away from you and be like, "Oh, he's terrible," so yeah. I mean, I don't. There's not one person that I am friends with that I wouldn't have on a podcast or on my videos. No matter what people think about him. And we've done that.
Yeah.
Even when I did a video with Tyler Nolan down in Florida, I had several people being like, you should not do a video with him. He does this or that. And he's a friend of mine.
Right.
And I was like, no, I'm going to do a video with him. I don't care what people think,
Right.
I'm going to go hang out with this dude.
And you don't even have to agree on everything.
Right,
You
yeah.
can, And a similar topic that I've noticed with you is how do you handle because I don't care if it's an Instagram video, I don't care if it's a YouTube video, and I don't know if it's PETA or the animal rights, it's everything. And the ones that really fire them up are the rabbit ones. When you're feeding the rabbits, there's not a video where you couldn't go to the comment section and have somebody, is that a real bunny? And how could you do that? And so how do you handle that? Like for me, what's the thought process?
So it was an evolution, when I first started YouTube, you got to remember it was a different world back then. I mean, if you looked at content back in 2008, 2010, across the board, I mean, people used to be able to do anything.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it was crazy what YouTube, because you got to remember that YouTube now cares about advertisers, right?
Right.
Especially since you can go back to the PewDiePie.
Yep.
Daily
vlogs.
Yeah, it was. When PewDiePie had it was called.
Or Casey Neistat.
Gosh, what was I thinking about? What was it called when PewDiePie had his friend? They called it something Gate. Like there was he ended up doing some things that almost destroyed YouTube. Like literally $200 million worth of advertising got pulled from YouTube.
Wow.
When
I actually didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't know that?
No.
So yeah, PewDiePie dropped the N-bomb.
Yeah, I know that,
yeah.
but
And when he dropped the N-bomb, literally it was called gosh, what was it? Was it Advertiser Gate or something Gate? And literally $200 million were pulled off. And that's what changed YouTube 100%.
Wow.
And that's why they had these kind of like you have, they're reviewing your content constantly.
Yeah.
They hired
And you had the big Logan one too.
and then you had that's what I'm saying. It started with PewDiePie was the first one, and then Logan was the second one,
Japan,
and then David Dobrik was a little bit of the third
yeah.
one that just recently happened, but not as extreme.
Right.
But the PewDiePie one was when the hammer fell.
Is it Steins Gate? Because that's the only thing I could find.
It might have been called that, but
anyway, it doesn't matter.
But anyways, so my point is that back in the day you could do anything because there wasn't any advertising dollars in those early days. I was actually a partner on YouTube as early as 2008, and you had to be invited into the partner program.
Okay.
You couldn't just like make videos and make money. You had to actually literally be invited by YouTube into the partner program, and there was I think less than 2,000 channels total that were partners. 2,000 total.
Amazing.
Every other piece of content that was put out there was non-monetized, so no one cared.
Yeah.
You could kick a cat down the road if you wanted to. Not that I suggest anyone do that.
Don't condone.
I don't condone that.
Yeah.
But so over time we were doing certain things that was beloved, and then that became the other way. I mean, it's like I was I went from the savior to the pariah overnight.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And so it was a very hard thing to deal with because for so many years you were so loved. You know, it's like, oh my God, Brian's great. You know, his content's great, this and that. And then all of a sudden, it's like he's the worst guy on the planet.
Right.
And so I had to learn to not care about those comments. And we did clean up a lot. I mean, we cleaned a ton of stuff up that we used to do. I mean, we still feed rabbits. We still, you know, they're frozen thawed. They're, you know, we don't feed live ever. You know, we never feed live to anything on film.
We're very conscious about what it looks like to people.
Yeah, we do the best we can. I mean, but we understand that there are going to be people that are still going to be upset. And the thing that we've noticed, Jay and I have talked about it, is that the more popular a video gets, the more hatred you're going to get on it.
No doubt.
Because what happens is that that initial 100,000 people
are your people.
Are my people.
Yep.
They love everything I do. I could sit here and read a book and they'd be like, that was the best video ever. You know, but when you get to 5 million, now 4.9 million of those people don't even know who you are, and they're just getting now they're watching, and out of that 4.9 million, 4.5 of them are like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
But then there's that 500,000 that's like, this guy should go to jail.
Yeah, bunny abuser.
He's an abuser. How dare you? And you have to just get to a point where you don't. I'm not like Joe Rogan says. He just doesn't read any comments.
That's his every time.
Yeah, like
Post
I
and
don't.
ghost.
Yeah. I will not do it. I'm not that way. I do read my comments. I interact with my people constantly. I want it to be a community. And overwhelming, we have a very positive community. But we have the outliers that are going to attack me for this or attack. And I said that there was a period of time, maybe 4 years ago. Now the hatred is pretty minor. I mean, very hardly at all. But there was a period of time, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, that if a woman was walking her baby across the street and a truck was coming and I dove to save the baby, someone would say that I was a molester. You know what I mean? Like, it's like I could do nothing right.
Yeah.
Like anything. I didn't, like I posted the same video that this guy posted and everyone's like, oh my God, that was great. And you're like, oh, you're an animal abuser. And that was a really tough maybe 2 years of my life when it became like, and this happens, I always say it's a mob mentality, much like what happened to Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Now listen, do I think that he should have filmed the dead body? No, probably not a good idea. You know, mistake. But it was a mistake.
Yep.
He shouldn't have been vilified to the point where people wanted him to die.
Yeah,
which makes no sense.
Yeah, which was exactly. Yeah, I mean, people that were saying
you're criticizing.
Yeah, you're criticizing filming a dead body, and then you're telling him he should go kill himself. Right. So, like, what kind of kind of person are you? You know.
Yep.
And so there's this mob mentality, and what's interesting is that, you know, even like with you being one of the biggest influencers in the beard community, people, for whatever reason, love to see the biggest guys fall.
Yeah.
The fall from grace.
It's weird.
Yep.
Like, it doesn't make, like, I have never, ever looked at any celebrity / anybody that has a following and wished bad on them. And when something did bad happen, when that thing happened to Logan, I literally texted Logan that day and told him how I felt how unfair people were treating him.
Good.
And I also told him, which, by the way, recently, maybe a year ago, he affirmed this, as I sent him a long text saying, Logan, I'm telling you, this is an opportunity for you.
Okay.
I said, I truly believe you are going to be bigger and better than you've ever been before.
And he is.
And he is.
Yeah.
And after he was on WWE for the first time, I sent him a text saying, remember when I told you that you were going to take it to a next level? And he said, I totally remember that text. He said, and you're right. He goes, I'm living the dream right now. He goes, life couldn't be better.
That's cool.
And so my point is that I didn't sit there and go, good for Logan. I'm glad that he's in the toilet.
Right.
He should lose. Same thing with my friend David Dobrik when it happened to Dave. I reached out to Dave, recently and just said, hang in there, brother. It's going to be okay. And here he is. He's back to his normal self again. He's got a show on Discovery right now, traveling around the world. I don't even understand what's going on with the show.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like it doesn't even make sense to me that Discovery Channel's in bed with David Dobrik for some reason. But it is, and God bless him. And I love the guy to death, and I really felt terrible when I saw what was happening to him. And the same thing would happen if it was a Reptile person.
Right.
If they were falling from grace, say Jay at Prehistoric or something like that, that's crushing, the social side of things. If he fell from grace, I wouldn't take pleasure from that at all.
Right.
I would want him to somehow pick himself up and get to the other side of it. So
yeah, and in the same kind of breath, it's when you do get bigger, people always want to associate negative intentions to you. Even when you're the same person when you didn't have it, when they loved it when you were smaller. Like for me, when I talk about companies I love, I did that 3-4 years ago.
You just didn't get paid for it.
I just didn't get paid for it. And that's, and then.
Isn't it funny how when you get paid for something, all of a sudden you
don't love it anymore.
Yeah, you don't love it anymore.
And it doesn't make sense. Like for me being a teacher, I'm like, okay, everyone loves teaching. But would you go teach tomorrow if they told you you'd never get paid again?
Right.
No, of course not.
Right.
Like that's life. That's how it is. And
well, that's what I've said. I've told people when they're like, Brian just cares about the money. And I've always said, when you go to your job, you get a paycheck.
Yep.
So you must just care about the money.
Right.
You must not care about anything that you do. You know, I mean, we all deserve to get paid, and we're all getting paid on different levels.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the more successful you are, and the more money you make, for some reason, more people do. And it's even weirder with animals, right?
Yeah.
Because like, you know, when you're like,
almost like you should donate all that money.
Yeah. What do you mean you're making money on animals? As a matter of fact, that was
you
funny.
ever heard of WWF?
Yeah.
You know, like that's how people are. It's great.
Yeah. It was funny. We had a Home and Garden net or home HGTV. Was interested in doing a show on our expansion. They were looking for unusual build shows because essentially the success that came from the island renovation show with the bombers or whatever.
Oh yeah. Yep.
You know, they were doing the Bahamas renovation on a resort. Was so successful. They said like we want something else that isn't remodeling houses. You know, we already have plenty of those shows, you know.
That would be amazing.
And so they came, you know, we were talking in talks with them about it. And then ultimately when it went to the green light meeting, they said, because they're part of Discovery Communications.
Okay.
And they said that they shot the project down. They said, in the end, Discovery Communications has a policy that you can't make money on animals. Which is, by the way, I just you know, in my breath, I said deadliest catch.
Yeah, is that true?
Deadliest Catch. Is that? Have you ever done that show?
Irwins?
How about the Irwins that run a zoo, a for-profit zoo in Australia? How about, you know, Atlanta Aquarium? How about I mean, you could go down the list of their networks, and it's just total BS.
Yeah,
you know, but for
somebody
some reason,
said something, and
but I think that's the thing. You know, it's like it's such a touchy thing with animals, and that's why. Yes, we sell animals at BHB, right?
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why BHB is kind of, you know, consolidating because, you know, I tell people when they come to the Reptarium, the only thing we sell is experiences.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
We don't sell animals. And as a matter of fact, I had someone, ironically enough, it was a hockey player's wife, really fell in love with one of my lizards, and she wanted to buy it, you know, and she was like, hey, how much for this lizard? And I said, I promise you don't have enough money for that lizard, you know, I won't sell it. You know what I mean? I've been literally offered $100,000 for Elvis.
Wow.
You know, and that's a $5,000 lizard. Right. And I said no. You know, like I, you know, it's not about the money.
Right. Elvis is the man.
Right.
I mean, I love these animals. I'm not buying them to resell them and stuff like that. But I think there's it's a little bit tricky with animals.
And the world would just be a better place if everybody made money doing what they're passionate about.
Right.
If you find that thing, like we all are going to be happier. We're all going to be better. Industries are going to be better. I mean, how many people hate their job? And if you can make money and love it, that's the dream, right?
And what is going forward the dream for you?
Mine is it's a tough thing. I love teaching. I just retired from coaching. I love coaching with a passion, but there's many aspects I did not love. The time away from my family was enormous. Dealing with some parents is very difficult. Yeah, same with teaching. This is year 12. I love teaching. I take pride in being a very good teacher. This is by far the most challenging, the weirdest year, even compared to last year.
Really?
And it's across the board. You ask any teacher, they'll tell you.
Why is that? What do you mean by that?
Man, I think it's because...
Are kids back now?
They are. We are back full time. And that's, so I teach 7th grade, which is we have 6th, 7th, 8th grade in our middle school. They have not, my 7th graders have not had a middle school experience. Last year, they were for 3/4 of the year at home. Yeah. And then the other part, they didn't have lunch. They didn't have lockers. They didn't have recess. Right. They did not have a middle school experience. So normally when I have 7th graders, they come through. Had a year. They're veterans, you know, they're good. Yeah. This is a full new experience. And last year, so to be fully transparent, I loved being at home. I was wearing basketball shorts because it was from here up. I was close to my family, got to have lunch. I had an amazing live stream setup because of my channel. I loved it. And I thought the kids were learning, and I think I was just enjoying it to really see. And now I'm like, yeah, they were missing this, they were missing that.
Yeah. I think it was bad for the kids. I really do.
Now I don't even think is debatable. It really was.
Definitely an effect.
We needed, and there are some people that can function, do really well, but majority need to be in person. They need to
most kids missed a year,
yes.
period. They didn't learn crap. Yeah.
And then double fold is there's a lot of parents that had their kids at home for the first time, and they were faced with what their kid looks like when they're learning, what their kid looks like when they're trying to do something. And I think there's a little bit of kind of like embarrassment that they've, and I'm not saying that they feel like they didn't do enough. They feel like they didn't help their kid enough. And so now this year when things come up, it's a very unique year. Like I've reached out to, let's say 10 parents, and in the past 9 out of 10 will be like, thank you so much. I'm on it. It'll never happen again. It'll change. Right. This year, 10 out of 10 have come back at me and saying,
it's like
hey,
your fault.
I had to have a parent meeting and said, nope, we need to meet tomorrow so we can go over this and talk about why your relationship is bad with my kid. And it's like, your kid just didn't do a project. I'm just reaching out to let you know that they lied to you and said they did it, but they didn't.
It's
and
not
like,
my fault.
Yeah. And so it's been very, very, very different this year.
And it's a lot of turmoil.
Well, and the kids, I mean, they're trying to figure their ways out too. I know a lot of kids that, like that have been at the Reptarium, volunteers, all this other things that like literally they didn't have school last year, and now they're in school and they're really struggling. Not just with the learning side, but the social side. Yes. It's like they have like this massive anxiety about even being around kids now,
and they just don't know how to interact. Like we've never had 7th grade recess like this. Like they're going out and playing like tag, like they're like very small children, which in 7th grade you don't usually do.
Yeah, right.
Because even we know that this was last year, but people forget it was the entire spring of the previous year. Yeah. So my 7th graders had the end of their 5th grade year
and then
completely
all
washed.
Of 6th grade,
and then all of 6th grade. And then they're back for 7th, like, welcome back. And
they're still kids.
And they're still kids. Yeah, they're still at this really pivotal age. And it's really tough when you're trying, because to have the perfect symbiotic relationship, we're at school, we work with the home works with us. And when that disconnect is there, it's made it very challenging. Yeah. And so this year's been tough. So for me, the ultimate is I love teaching. It's not greatly impacting my channel right now. There are some opportunities that I've probably missed because of my day job. But the ultimate goal is within about 5 years or so, I want to have a daily show, daily platform where my best friend is working with me. He's my co-host. We bring in another buddy who's a teacher, and he is an audio video teacher, which is perfect. So he will run the audio, the switcher and everything. And we just want to build a community platform that's from the beard community, but it's based in support. It's based in just a place so you can come escape your daily life. And that's the dream.
I gotta look up something for you. I'm not gonna tell you the results until after the podcast.
Okay.
But I bet you any money that Jay knows what I'm looking up.
Okay. But it's if anybody's familiar with,
do you know Jay?
I don't think so, but I'm trying to figure it out.
If anybody's familiar with the Pat McAfee show.
Oh, okay.
It was going to be Meta Beard.
Oh,
you're like, I'm gonna hop in there.
The next step,
Yeah, I was looking up Meta. It's taken. I'm sorry, man.
Somebody got it.
I wasn't going to say it. I wasn't going to say it. Man, I'm telling you, they're on it. I spent an hour last night look up
domains.
Meta domains.
Yeah.
And I bought a bunch. I bought like 8 or 10 Meta domains. All doing with animal stuff. But it was shocking how many were taken.
Yep. People know now, man.
Because they're not buying, like I'm buying them hoping to use them at some point. People are buying them. There was a couple Meta ones that were selling for $1.9 million. And I guarantee you those people bought them within the last week.
Wow.
And they had them up for sale for would someone pay 1.9? Probably not. But maybe someone would.
Down the road, yeah.
Maybe some big companies like, hey, I need that particular thing.
Yeah. If you had Meta Twitter before Meta Twitter was around, you never know,
Yeah. So
So that's the dream is to do this full time. Have more time with my family, but also explore every opportunity that comes my way. And the thing that I came to realize was stepping away from coaching that I loved was literally changing their lives. Yeah. But it's also happening on this side. It just happens to be with adults. Adults have anxiety, depression, they have growth and all this stuff. And we have so many areas. Like a huge portion of our community is what we call freedom beards, where it's veterans that were never able to grow a beard. They had to shave every day for the military. Then they get out and they don't ever want to shave again. And they're in their 50s, they're in their 60s, or even 30s. But if it's a career military man, they don't have their dad around, or they don't have a parent with facial hair, and so they turn to the community to learn, and they're so amazing, so appreciative. So that's the goal, is to be with my friends.
As an influencer, and as you know, as a growing opportunity, because you're one of the leading, you're on that front edge of influencer. I mean, do you want to get into your own product line?
So I have no interest in selling anything. I don't want to deal with returns and customer service. Similar story. So I got my bachelor's from Michigan, go blue, for teaching.
Yeah, that worked out well for you today.
Still loyal.
It's still fresh, Brian.
I know, man. I haven't seen
hardball.
The highlights.
I literally, we both, so it's for, you guys don't know, Michigan played Michigan State today, big rivalry. Both were 7-0.
Yeah.
When I stopped.
Wait, really?
Yeah, both were 7-0.
And I saw it at the gas station. It was like 30-33.
Well, when I turned it off on the radio, Michigan was up 10 points.
Yeah.
And it was like in the end of the third.
Same. Yep.
And so I was thinking for sure there's no chance.
Yep.
State, and apparently State came back and won by 4 points.
So got my bachelor's, and we don't got to talk about it.
Good. Let's move on.
In history, teaching history, and then once I was teaching, I got a master's degree in administration. So I thought I wanted to be a principal, and so got my certificate. And then you have to do so many like shadow hours to be able to officially get the position. And I found out it was a terrible job. Like it didn't fit me. Like all the stuff
you liked the teaching, but you didn't like that side of it.
All the stuff I loved of teaching was removed, and so I was like, man, this just does not fit what I want to do.
Sure.
So I went back and got a second master's degree in curriculum development, which was
that's cool.
Awesome job.
That's cool.
And then the channel started to take off, so I decided like I'm going to kind of ride this out a little bit. And so there's a lot of the stuff that I've found like, okay, I don't like that side of things, but I do love this. And with teaching, there's a lot. I love so much of it, but there are some tough times. Like next week, we have parent-teacher conferences. So I will get up at 6 a.m., go to work at 7, and then we will be till work. Our school day ends at like 3:10. Conferences
and then you've got a conference.
Start at 4 o'clock and go to 8 o'clock. And then I get to go home. I didn't get to see my kid. I won't see my kids next Tuesday. And so like stuff like that, just, man, that really hurts. And I have
always tough when
3 kids under 6. Those are long days, and not every conference goes super well, you know. It's just, there's some aspects that are like, I will not miss that side of things.
Of course.
Yeah, and I think being your own person, I think that you have a great opportunity because you have a foothold already in something that's growing, and as it grows, it's only going to get bigger.
Right.
You know, it's only going to get bigger. For some reason, women love beards.
Yeah, I know.
These days, and so, you know, not every woman, but
I'd say a good many.
Yeah, I'd say way more than not.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, way more than not.
And maybe not my beard so much, but more so Jay's and other people.
No, your beard too. I think, dude. I think you'd be surprised,
it's
bro.
Majestic. It's what I would call it, majestic.
Yeah. Girls actually will cry if their boyfriend shaves their beard.
Oh
yeah. It's a real thing.
Yeah. Huge TikTok trend.
Yeah, it's hysterical. Yeah. Honestly, I love watching.
So I'm going to throw out a term here because I want to sound like I know what I'm.
Here we go.
Tell me a little bit about the underbeard.
Oh, okay. So
baby.
Yeah, wow, we're going deep.
Yeah, we're going deep in this.
The underbeard is what gives your beard that density and thickness.
Okay, gotcha.
So what a lot of guys do is they make a mistake and they want to grow a medium or long beard, and they shave or trim along their jawline.
Right.
And so then they're just growing like this front layer of their beard.
Gotcha.
But it's actually that underbeard that gives you like the
volume.
depth. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
See that? I'm never shaving my neck again.
Yeah, baby.
I'm never shaving my neck again. We got any questions from the checking in?
Dude, of course.
Checking in.
We got Amber. This one's for you, Brian. It says, I can't seem to put any weight on my ball python. Any tips?
If it's feeding, feed it more. Period. I promise you, if it's feeding, you feed it more, you will put weight on it. So the very, very, very common thing that happens is people just underfeed their snakes, and they think that they just can't. So maybe you buy a ball python and it's eating a fuzzy, and you just don't know when to make it a mouse, and you don't know when a mouse goes to a small rat, and we don't know when a small rat goes to a medium rat. You don't know when it goes from one medium rat to 2 medium rats. And I'm not saying, Amber, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm just telling you that it's all caloric, right? It's just like people. The more calories you put in, the more they're going to grow. Period. You know, there's no real secondary thing. I mean, there's some things like heat and stress and stuff like that can be an attribute to growth as well. But for the most part, the more food you put in, the higher it's going to grow.
Tiffany says, Dan, what is your favorite animal at the Reptarium, and have any of them inspired you to get your own?
Man, so no inspiration to get my own. No,
but Maddox, I think Maddox is going to be a problem though. He's into it. He's into it.
Yeah,
man.
No, I don't. We have 2 cats, and I'm good there. I don't want anything else. My favorite, so Maddox's favorite are salt and pepper. He loves salt and pepper. Yeah. Mine is probably, and I apologize for not knowing the name, but I know it's a newer one, is the armadillo.
Brillo. Brillo, the armadillo.
Brillo, that's right.
Yeah,
the personality on that
so
thing
crazy.
is massive.
Yeah.
It's such a cool personality. So that's probably my favorite, the one that I get like the happiest to see.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And the experiences with them, I was talking to Jay about this earlier, Jay Tingle.
Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting because Brillo has kind of stole the thunder from Drogo.
Right.
You know, Drogo was like the big thing that everyone wanted to do. And we're still doing lots of Drogo experiences. Sloths are still sloths. You know, people love sloths. But we do probably 5 Brillo experiences for every Drogo experience now, which shocks me.
It's so
because
cool.
I never thought an armadillo would be more popular than a sloth.
No, me neither.
Yeah.
But it's
never in a million years.
incredible.
But it is cool. And it was funny. I had a tour earlier today when you showed up. I was doing it. And it was funny. I showed him like Brillo's running around, and I went down to the end of the island and I called him. I'm like, Brillo, come here, and he come running right over
like
to
a
me.
dog.
It's like crazy.
Now,
and Jay knows he'll follow you around.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Are armadillos, is that common, or is he just like an outlier?
It's my first armadillo, so
Okay.
I mean, I've messed with other armadillos. The other armadillos I've messed with, I have not experienced what I experienced with Brillo.
Me neither.
So I don't know if he's like just super special or if maybe. I will say the guy Mark Rosenthal that I got him from bred him and really babied him.
Okay.
You know, and so by the time we got him when he was 7 weeks old, 6-7 weeks old, you know, he was already really people friendly,
Comfortable.
and I think that helped a tremendous
does.
amount.
Oh, good.
And then when he got here, he just got spoiled like you can't believe.
He's so cool.
And he definitely relates people to getting attention.
Yeah,
food,
he loves
you know,
the attention,
everything.
yeah.
So he doesn't look at people as like I'm afraid of him. He's like,
No.
you know, like give me more of these
Yeah,
people.
so that's my favorite.
Yeah, no, he's awesome.
Adam K says, and this is to you, Brian, any advice on coercing my wife into letting me have a sizable reptile in our future house?
Oh, and pause real quick. So
Yeah.
this is my buddy Adam K. I actually I was telling Jay about this, drove through Pennsylvania, New Jersey to go to his wedding in New York.
Oh, very cool.
On Long Island.
Congratulations.
He says his wife, they've been married for 2 weeks now.
2 weeks?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Adam,
It's still time
you
to
know,
run.
listen, I got one word for you: annulment. You can get rid of her. You can get rid of her now. Won't cost you anything. No, I'm kidding, Adam. Congratulations. You know, I think it's a matter of education. You know, I mean, if you can educate her on how reptiles aren't evil and that they're not going to kill your cats and dogs and eat your babies and stuff like that, you know, I think that she'll open her eyes. I mean, again, we had it, you know, earlier today before the podcast where there was a group of people that were, you know, very much, you know, like I'm not holding anything, and I saw that transition go from like, all right, now I can hold stuff, and I think that's just an education thing. You got to remember the difference between ugly and beauty is knowledge.
That's
and so, you know,
I love that.
Yeah.
Little Bogus, who's also a teacher, she's talking to you, Dan. She says, and the administration doesn't want to suspend kids. So little consequence for major things like smoking weed in the bathrooms.
Yeah, it's definitely a really interesting time. It's this customer service side, and they know
Catering
it's a
to
tough
the
time.
parent almost.
100%. It is, and this is across the country. This is not anything local or regional.
Yeah, because Little Bogus is in where is it? Nebraska.
Yes.
Yeah,
Nebraska.
and teachers are, and this is, I don't want to sound complaining at all, but teachers
No,
are
you're
just
good.
asked more than ever. We have our most meetings we've ever had this year, and it's just, it's rough.
Overwhelming.
It's a rough
Yeah, and
year.
we were talking about before. It's crazy the wages that teachers make.
Yeah.
I mean, like it is egregious.
Yeah.
I mean, you can make more money doing almost anything.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, yeah,
And you need a degree. You need to be, educated. You need to be a counselor. You need to be a mentor. You need to be, you need to be
unfair, yeah.
charismatic.
Yeah.
There's so many like things you need to be a good teacher.
Yeah. And you have to recertify every 5 years and pay for that.
I didn't even know
Yeah,
that.
and literally, like, they should be one of the higher paid positions in this country, because you are responsible for developing our future.
Yeah. Every
And our
profession.
kids, our kids. I mean, I don't want my kids to go to a place that the teachers are horrible.
Right.
You know what I mean? But yet they're not willing to pay them.
Well, that's
you
what I
know?
was talking to Dan about. I was like, if you want the best hockey player, you pay them the most money. You like if you're paying no money to teachers, you're going to have shitty teachers, because people
How's
like
that?
Dan,
Yeah.
who's a good guy, and I've seen messages from his students that, like, you're a great teacher, I love you, man. Like, he's not going to be there in the future because he's going to go to other opportunities that give him more money.
Yeah. Oh, you should hear what Dan said about all of his.
Oh my God, you should hear. I got it recorded.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
it's
play
horrible. He hated them all. No, he actually talked super highly about all that. You seem to love your kids.
I do, yeah.
And that's amazing. Itself, but it's yeah. How do you fix that? I mean, how do you think that'll ever get fixed? Because what is it, like taxpayer money that pays, unless you're in a private school? But even a private, in most private schools, the teachers make less money.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, almost all of them. Yeah.
Which doesn't even make sense.
Oh, I didn't
I know.
know that.
Because-
That's nuts.
Yeah. No, if it's a charter school, it's usually far less money.
Yeah, which doesn't make any sense, because I sent my kids to private school.
Yeah.
We paid a lot of money to
Right.
send my kids to private school, and those teachers were making about half what you make,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Yeah. And
You
it's and you can't support a family on a teacher's income. It's just not possible. And so I don't know. I don't know how that changes. I don't know how this rough year and coming back. I just know that there needs to be consequences. Like parents have to. You got to own it. You got to understand it's okay to. A lot of parents right now don't want their kids to feel uncomfortable. They don't want them to feel
Just bad.
Yeah, they don't want them to feel bad.
Adversity is important.
Yeah, 100%. That's why I love sports. I
Yes,
played every
great.
sport because I learned how to take a loss.
Yeah.
I learned how to take someone talking crap to me. I learned how to have a bad coach, a good coach,
Yeah.
And that set me up for different bosses and coworkers and stuff. And parents don't want their kids to feel uncomfortable, whether they failed a test, whether they got in trouble in the bathroom at school. They try to really be friends with them and that can't happen. You got to have them experience it. Especially for me, one thing I love about middle school is our GPA resets, right? I'm not keeping anybody out of Harvard. So if your kid fails my project, let's use this. This is a teachable moment. Let's get them ready for when that GPA really does matter.
Yeah.
They remember this lesson. But right now, if you make excuses for them, you believe the lies and stuff, man, you're just setting that table for a really bad fall, whether it's high school or when they go off to college. So, yeah, I don't know how either side, the pay or the kind of rough year after the quarantine changes.
Well, let's hope it stays at least in school. I hope nothing changes there. I think that people realized that it was a bad situation.
Agreed.
And I think that although there's consequences for having kids in school, because I'm sure not all the kids are vaccinated, and whatever the case, there's going to be some community spread. But I think that risk is worth
the
not
reward,
having the left behind.
Agreed.
I mean, our administrative assistant. I mean, her poor kid when it was in kindergarten, for gosh sakes. So he had never even had a school
with
experience.
Maddox.
Yeah, I didn't even have it. So your first school experience is online.
So was Maddox.
Wow,
how do you
that's
expect
crazy.
them to deal
He
with
was
that?
in kindergarten last year.
Yeah, I mean,
Luckily,
that's-
he's got a teacher for a dad.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
No, a better mom.
Yeah.
That's all.
Oh,
credit
that's
to
true.
Sam.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, that was tough for everyone. I know, again, Beth was going crazy with that, so it's wild.
So I seen one that came up before. It said, any tips to help with flaky beards?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So flaky beards.
What is a flaky beard?
We call it beard drift. And it's like
dandruff.
It's like dandruff, but it's just dead skin cells.
Okay.
So the
Interesting.
3 best ways to fight flaky beards. Number 1 is to drink more water. It's almost always you're dehydrated.
Okay.
Number 2 is to exfoliate the skin. Get a comb in there. If you got a shorter beard, get a brush. You can do it in the shower as well. Essentially, you need to physically remove that dead skin cells that are built up. And then number 3 is get a good beard oil. After every shower, depending on the length of your beard, get a couple drops, put that beard oil on the skin, and that's what's going to nourish the skin. I promise those 3 things: water upkeep, exfoliate, beard oil, it'll be gone within like a week.
Now, are there certain people that, you know how like my hair, for instance, I have to cut it every few months because of dead ends or split ends and all that other type of stuff. Same thing with the beard, or
So split ends is just damage that happens usually. So if you have long hair, it's more likely to be caught on your shirt when you're putting your shirt on, and caught in when you're sleeping, hair ties and all that stuff. So same for the beard. I trim my beard 2 or 3 times a year just to get rid of the transparency, and then if there's any split ends. But yeah, split ends can never be repaired, so you always have to trim them.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just I have remember Bashy.
Yeah,
I have a
yeah.
friend,
you would love Bashy.
I wish we had a picture.
There's no
of him.
there's no possible way to get a picture.
possible way,
You should text him and be like, send me a picture of your beard.
So he's been growing his beard. This is the thing.
Since
he only
he was
has
4, right?
only the tip, right?
Yeah.
Just the tip right here. But he's been growing it since like forever. Like I don't think he's
no
ever
mustache, no
was born
mustache,
like
no
that.
anything.
I think that might be his umbilical cord.
Yeah, his umbilical. But, so it's down like literally like close to his knees.
Wow.
And braided.
And that's braided.
Wow.
All the way down to close to his knees. You
That's
know?
amazing. There's a USC ref that has similar, just the front, and braids it all the way down.
So wild to see.
Yeah, but just so long, you know. I know, like, can you pull up Kerry King?
Yeah.
I wonder what I don't know. This is like, to me, this is like the King Tut beard. I don't know what you would call this, but he's got the he's got the King Tut beard.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Well, he's got the goatee going on too, but he's got a pretty, I guess. Yeah.
I can see what you're saying, King Tut beard, like how the sarcophagi would have that.
Yeah. Have the little
So
braiding.
he's from Slayer, right?
He's from Slayer. Yeah.
So I don't know his name, and this is shame on me. The lead singer of Slayer has a beard, and
he shaved it.
And he participates in my channel. He comes in my live streams and stuff.
Tom Araya.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
No way. For real?
There's Tom.
So we have a random mutual friend. I have a buddy. His wife is from Michigan, the Clarkson area.
Oh my gosh.
And his name's Brian Bonds, and he was actually the original lead guitarist of Florida Georgia Line.
Oh,
No
God,
way.
no kidding.
So,
yeah. Lori loves those guys,
Awesome
by the way.
guy. So his wife his family's from Clarkston, and they live in Nashville. He's still a music producer and everything. And we went up to Traverse City this summer together and spent the week there. Great guy.
Yeah.
And he was in my live stream, and he texted me. He was like, Dan, do you realize who that is? And I was like, no, I have no idea. He was like, I saw the name. I text him because we've worked together, and it's him. He's like the lead
Tom
singer.
Araya.
And I was like, had no idea because I don't
That's
listen
so
to that kind of
cool.
music. And then I heard he shaved the beard. But
Yeah, because I saw his last. So I'm friends with Kerry, that guy.
Okay.
I've known Kerry. It's interesting, right? Because when I was, I've always been kind of into, heavy metal type stuff. So when I was like 13, like I paid, whatever it cost was to get front row to see Slayer when they were a smaller band and stuff like that. It was at the Royal Oak Music Theater, probably 2,000 people venue, 1,500 person venue. But I was literally front row when I was 13. And then now Carrie and I have been friends for like the last 20 years.
That's
you know what I
cool.
mean? It's pretty cool. So we went to all the Slayer shows when he was in town because we'd go hang out with him and stuff like that. And so they did their farewell tour. And the last time I saw Tom, he had shaved. I think he still had like some facial hair, but he didn't have the big beard, and I was like,
there's
oh, geez.
a lot of rockers that take care of their beard. There was a band, I'm sure Jay knows it here, but they broke up and have a new band now, but it was called Il Nino.
Okay.
And they were a screamer band. They have a new one called Lions at the Gate. And one of their guys, Diego, was huge into taking care of beards, and he actually started his own beard company. And so he's launched some beard company. But there's all these random, like, these guys with heavy metal, and they're watching my, like, educational videos. I'm like, this is so weird.
That
like,
is
so
awesome,
weird.
though. That is cool, man. Yeah, it's funny because, like I said, I've hung out with the Slayer, guys from Slayer so many times. Tom is a guy that's like super reclusive.
Okay.
Like he's never around. Like I mean, like after the show, you'll have Gary Holt, who's one of the guitar players, Carrie, Tom Lombardi when he was a drummer, or, the next drummer, or whatever the guy. They'll always be hanging out. So you're always just hanging out with. I don't drink, so we just they'd be drinking, I'd be hanging out, and but Tom was never around. Like every now and then he'd like walk through the room, and then he was disappeared. So like I never even had one conversation with the dude, and I always loved his
He
stuff.
just shred and
He was just so good, but I guess he's just was like not into the scene at all, and I think that's why they ended up retiring. Well, I don't think, I know that's why they ended up retiring. Was Tom was done, and my understanding was he was done like 5 years ago, and they like convinced him to keep going for a few extra years because it was an interesting band because they like were like way more popular in their end days than they were in the beginning days.
Okay.
You know, like they became like the legends of death metal.
Yeah,
right.
You know, whereas like back in the so they were doing like arenas at the end, whereas
Yeah, they got as big as
everyone else goes
Metallica
down.
for real.
yeah, like for most of their career, they were doing like little tiny places, you know,
And it's usually the opposite.
yeah, it's usually the opposite. And then in the end, they're literally headlining like arena shows.
Yeah, they
you know?
became Metallica, Iron Maiden, like they're for a different generation.
Yeah, which is
real.
crazy. But yeah, no, good guys. But yeah, so that's that one. Who else has a good beard?
I mean, there's a lot, dude.
And I've never tried this, so I'm gonna try this
Yeah,
liquid,
try.
liquid
Liquid
death here.
death.
I see everybody has it.
As soon as you drink it, you'll be dead.
Yeah. So
That's what happens.
you're welcome.
Okay, goodbye. Bye, Dan.
Matt, what if
It's
he
not
did
bad,
that?
right?
No.
So they make the white ones are water, just pure water.
Okay.
And that still water, as they call it. And then these ones are sparkling
So
water.
what's the draw of a sparkling water? Is it to replace pop? Like
I
the
think
feeling?
so. I
Yeah.
think it's
Okay.
just it's
Okay.
just you know, I think it's just a
I'm more of
Yeah,
a
me too.
still water fan,
Yeah.
personally.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because I've never had even sparkling water.
That was my
Really?
first
Yeah,
one, and I
yeah.
had too.
Yeah, it's
Today's
not-
the day of first.
and I will say I don't like sparkling water per se, but
Yeah.
Liquid Death is the best sparkling
Yeah,
water.
I
I've
agree.
had. Like I can drink Liquid Death sparkling water. Most like Perrier, I can't even drink it. I can't even drink it. It's just like horrible.
No, that one's
so,
not too bad.
Just carried at the airport to
Yeah.
look fancy and get upgrades.
So hopefully one day they'll sponsor us. I mean, I've been talking with the company
Cool.
about sponsorship.
Well,
for
Liquid
the
Death, it is delicious.
Yeah, that's what I said. Brought to you by
A
Liquid
little
Death.
higher to the left. Spin the label a little bit.
Yes,
Yeah,
label,
the
but,
mic was in the way.
What else you got, Jake?
Just Hit Record says at checking in. So this is for you, Brian. He says, "Thanks for the inspiration. Just bought the perfect meta domain."
Nice.
Oh,
That's my
dude, well
buddy Ken.
you bought it, so tell me what it is.
Yeah. Talk to us.
Hit us with another one.
I'll buy it from you.
I'm
No, I
assuming,
mean, hey, you already have it, so
Yeah.
you know you got it. So yeah,
Let
I
us
wonder.
know.
I wonder if it had to do with beards, man.
So that's Ken. He is a bearded buddy of mine, and he has
like
it's
that.
Just Hit Record, and he makes content about like creating content, like helping
Okay.
people
Oh, that's cool.
understand
Nice.
the YouTube algorithm and
That's
stuff.
awesome.
So I'm assuming he did Just Hit Record Meta. I'm guessing.
Meta just hit record.
Yeah.
Well, let us know, man, and welcome to the podcast.
Yeah.
By the way, I
Yeah.
appreciate you. It's there's so yeah, we talked about the metaverse a bunch, and it's such. I mean, I've said this, and I said this to you earlier. In 5-6 years, we won't call it the internet anymore. We'll call it the metaverse.
Yeah.
You know, there won't be anything. The internet will become the metaverse.
Yeah.
And it's a really weird. You know, it was funny. I'm a huge Elon Musk fan.
Yep.
You know, and Elon even says that he thinks there's a 90% chance that we're in a simulation right now.
That's crazy. My brain hurts to think about
It's
that
crazy
stuff.
to think about that.
So I got an interesting Elon story. So I do a starter every day at school. It's a question. Never has to deal with what we're learning about. I just want to get them started. And usually it's a debate. Should we have cell phones in school? Should we have this? And so my question on yesterday was, who is the greatest Superman of all time? Let's do a 5-sentence paragraph. Give me your claim, evidence, reasoning. And I was baiting them. I knew exactly where they were going to go. And I waited till someone said Batman. I'm like, all right, share your Batman. What's your 3 pieces of evidence? Because I don't think Batman's a superhero. And just trying to get discussion.
So
And I'm
he's a
thinking,
normal person, just
and
a rich guy,
It
yeah.
said he's rich.
Yeah.
He's very smart, and he has tons of tech gadgets
Yep.
and inventions. And I said, oh, okay, so that makes him a Superman or a superhero? And they're like, yeah. I said, is Elon Musk a superhero?
yeah, right.
And they're like, oh my gosh. Like,
he
mind
kinda
blown.
is. Elon
Musk is Batman. Damn.
Yeah, so
Elon kind of is, though.
Yeah, he's Batman.
that is Batman.
Well, Elon was actually Iron Man.
Oh.
right. That's what Tony Stark said. He based the character on Elon Musk.
Wait, is that for real?
Yeah, that's for real. Yeah.
I never knew that.
I didn't
Yeah,
even know Elon was
Yeah,
prominent enough
Yeah.
back then.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Tony Stark was based on Elon
Wow.
Musk.
Wow.
That's what whatever his name is.
Not alien enough.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just, you know, he was rich. He's a very eccentric.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, did you see Elon's tweet?
Which one? Yeah, I think I know what you're
The
talking about.
TITS?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! What was it? Oh
see.
gosh! What is the? It's this is just amazing that one of the most rich people and most influential.
was recent, right?
It was like yesterday's tweet.
Yeah.
It was like oh gosh, he tweets so much,
Yeah.
man.
His Rogan podcasts were amazing.
Why don't you just go TITS? And I'm sure it'll gotta come up. Yeah, there it is. It's the university. He said he wants to start a university that's called, what is the university?
Texas Institute of Technology and Science.
He said merch is going to be fire. TITS.
He's probably going to do it.
And he will, and it'll be fire, and people will rock it all over the globe.
I mean, this is a guy that put out a flamethrower, for God's sakes. A flamethrower.
Yeah.
And if me and Noah were talking about this the other day. If you look at the models of cars he put out, it was the S, the 3, and the X.
I know.
And the only reason he didn't do the E is because Ford had a Model E.
Model E, yeah.
So it's literally S3X.
I never crossed my mind.
He's just a goofball, dude. I love him, man.
Funny. It's just like, did you know that, have you seen Spinal Tap, the movie Spinal Tap?
It's been a while.
But you've seen it. So you kind of know of it. Do you know that Tesla's radios go to 11?
Okay.
They don't go to 10, they go to 11. And that's from that famous scene in Spinal Tap when he goes, this amp is louder than every other amp because it goes to 11. And then
incorporate that in his car.
And the guy goes, well, why don't you just make 10 louder? And he goes, because this goes to 11.
Yeah. And now he's just like, I'll put that in the car.
Yeah, he put it's. I love it.
He's
like a troll.
Yeah, he's what most normal people would do with all their billions of dollars if they had it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love it, man. He's what a guy. But he is like a superhero. But it is crazy to think that a guy that smart thinks there's that high of a probability that we're in a simulation.
What's the thing called where Rogan talks about every episode where you're going to be able to talk wavelength or something?
Neuralink.
We're able to talk without talking.
Yeah, Neuralink.
And he thinks it's going to happen.
I think it will happen. Well, it's already happening. They're invested tons of money.
They've had chimps be able to play a whole video game with their brain. No controller, no nothing.
Yeah. So, but I do think that scares the shit out of me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, that scares me more than anything.
Why?
I mean, I like the positives of Neuralink.
Yeah.
Like they said, no more depression, no more anxiety.
Oh, okay.
No more schizophrenia, no more
Alzheimer's,
pulse,
dementia.
Yeah, dementia. That's gone. That's great. But when you start talking about like this flow of information, like, I mean, so what makes people are differences of knowledge.
Yeah.
If we had every bit of knowledge of the internet available instantly, I mean, like, I go to Japan and I can speak Japanese.
Yeah, we're a collective consciousness at that point.
And that scares me because there's now no differentiation from anyone on the planet.
So let me say this, though. Like, theoretically, right now, you could go to Japan and use your phone to do the same thing, right? You could speak into it in English and it'll speak to the person in Japanese. It's just taking away the phone that you have to hold. Really, it's just putting it all in your head.
I think the difference is that I couldn't go to calculus right now and know everything about calculus.
I think that'll be a long ways away. I think the smaller, like I think what's going to be at first is almost going to be like imagine having a phone like inside your like cerebral cortex.
Well, but that's, I think, my point. What Elon has said, though, is that he said that with you just thinking of an answer, it would immediately search the internet and you would have the answer in your head immediately.
You wouldn't have to
So at that
interact.
point, there would be nothing you wouldn't know. You would know everything.
Yeah.
Every person would know the exact same thing. Anyone that could ask a question to their brain would have the same exact answer, which wouldn't differentiate people at all.
Yeah.
There would be no more geniuses. There would be no more professors. There would be no more reason for school.
Well, and we've already changed so much because it used to be basis of education was memorization. You need to be able to recall this stuff to be able to function. Well, now it's available in your pocket at any time. So it's not so much teaching kids how to memorize, but how to use the resources you have.
Yeah,
how to be
solving,
creative, right? If you're going to get hired at Google, it's because what you can do with that information.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's even like math. I don't know what the new math thing is, but I mean, when I was in math, there was a certain, you just, like you said, you memorize, 5 plus, 5 times 5 is 25.
Yep.
Now I guess they do it completely differently.
Yeah, break it down so that they understand the root of the problem and like what the numbers are. You know?
So it's a weird thing. But I'm all for technology. I'm not an anti-technology guy.
Of course not.
Neuralink freaks me out just a little bit because I think that the applications can be very, very strange, unless there's some...
And Tesla has the new robots, right? Aren't they?
Off?
Yeah.
I'm into that, man. Yeah. I'm down. I'm gonna.
Elon said you can outrun it. Don't.
I'll have one giving me a neck rub and be like, "You can make a channel too."
Yeah,
100%. Exactly. You would be good at this.
No, I'm all about that. I mean, listen, we have Roombas, right? I mean, they're the beginning of the robots.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to be long before robots are going to be doing and
Jetsons.
Yeah. Speaking of the
company,
Jetsons,
did you see it?
Did you see it? Yeah, the Jetsons
Dude,
drone.
yeah, dude.
Yeah, there's a Jetsons
It's a quadcopter.
drone. Yep, there's a quadcopter called Jetsons drone.
Okay.
Yeah, check it out. It's so
No,
cool.
I haven't heard that.
Yeah, it's quadcopter.
It's like imagine riding a drone motorcycle is pretty much the idea.
Yeah, and this is now, and it's well, these are none of these.
I think it would be more
there
like
it is
this.
right there.
but-
That's
wow.
it. Yeah, that's not the one, but
No.
it's
Yeah,
similar.
I just seen it on TikTok the other day, man. It was so cool.
Dude's just flying around in it, man, like nothing.
It
and it's
looked
just-
more like this in a way.
Yeah,
Like it looked
had
nice
a
and
cage,
stylish.
It had a cage around you and stuff like
Yeah,
that. It was
something
really, it
like
was
that.
really, yeah, similar. Yeah, that's SkyDrive, but it's similar to that, and it just,
We're living in the future, baby.
We are. We're here.
It's crazy as hell. You know?
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that they're literally talking about selling those because there was a price on it.
Oh no!
And it was only like $59,000.
They launched like in 6 days.
Yeah, it was like
Oh wow.
So they launch in 6 days. You
Yep,
can buy it in
yeah.
6 days. It's $59,000.
We're getting them.
and you got your own personal flying drone.
Zoo to you, no matter where you live, on a mountain, wherever
Wonder
you live.
how long the fly time is.
That's going to be the issue. I know
'cause
I've
the
talked to.
batteries.
Yeah, batteries are tough. So that's the biggest thing that is going on right now in all of EV
Yeah.
stuff is that the battery life is not
Subpar.
where it's at, but it's getting there. Like Elon said, right now there's like whatever the number, it's like 300 whatever.
Okay.
He said when we can get that to 400, we can be flying planes intercontinental.
Electronically.
Yeah, electronically planes. That he's saying he wants to create a plane that will vertically take off and fly exclusively on batteries at over 57,000 feet in the air. So right now jets are flying at 40,000 is
Yeah.
high, 33 is normal cruising altitude.
Okay.
They can go up to 42,000 if they're really high, but they don't go over 42,000. He wants to be above that 57 to 60,000 because the air drag is less.
Okay.
Right? And so he feels that when the batteries can get to just only 25% better than we are right now, that we could actually have jets that take off vertically, so no runways is needed, and that we can fly at 60,000 feet and twice the speed that we're flying now.
And this is coming from the guy that said, let's try to land spaceships back down on Earth again.
Yeah.
And did
it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It looks so weird too because
Yeah.
like it's something that almost like the human eye was never supposed to see.
Right,
And so it
right,
looks like
right.
a CGI or
Yeah.
something, you know?
Yeah,
That's in
it's
reverse.
no, it's,
Which, speaking of which, every video of Mark Zuckerberg looks CGI. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I'm not messing around. Go watch him. It looks not like a real
Oh,
human.
yeah.
It looks like
That's-
it doesn't pass the Turing test.
yeah, you got to wonder about
I think
that
he's
guy.
got Neuralink or something. I'm not messing with you. bro.
or does it get to a point where, I've thought about this.
It's different, dude. It's
like I
not.
think if you no, I know
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, but I think that when you're running a company that complex,
Yeah.
and it sounds like Zuckerberg is really a control freak.
Involved. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not like one of these. Like I think Bezos had very little to do with Amazon at a certain point.
Right.
I think he was just the name, and he might have been the whatever, but I don't think he was day to day on anything.
Right.
Which is fine. I mean, most
Absolutely.
companies run that way.
He
You
earned
know.
it, yeah.
But and you've seen even when you see Elon talking now compared to 10 years ago, he's a little fried. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
for
Like,
sure, for
he has a
sure.
hard time putting a sentence together most
Yeah.
of the time because there's so much going on. And I wonder if for some now I have no excuse for the haircut with Zuckerberg.
No,
I don't
listen,
know.
It's more
I don't
than
know,
like what he's doing. Like the actual
His
video
mannerisms,
looks CGI.
Yeah.
And then, dude, his video talking about the metaverse on the bookshelf as a bookend, it was a bottle of Sweet Baby Ray's.
Oh my god!
And the internet's going crazy.
That's
like
amazing.
They're like
That's
funny.
humans like this must put this up on the shelf. You know, like
That's
that's
funny.
crazy, dude.
But it's in a way, it's a great marketing tool, right? If
Yeah.
people are actually talking
Oh, of
about
course,
it. You know what I mean?
Sweet
It's
Baby
like-
Ray's is making $1 million, bro.
That does sound good.
Yeah, I do like myself some Sweet Baby Ray's. There's no
Yeah,
doubt
look at
about
that's the
that.
second thing. Mark Zuckerberg, and the second thing is
Barbecue
barbecue sauce.
sauce.
Barbecue sauce. How about that?
Look at this, dude. As a bookend, bro.
That does not. Yeah.
That's a reptile. Listen, I don't believe that there's reptilian people, but if anyone is, it's this guy. I promise you.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
But
amazing.
that being said, I mean, they're doing things that's going to change the world.
Well, I'm just
forever.
glad that again, I think that I've said this about Facebook is that Facebook was, you got to remember, it was one of a lot of social platforms
right.
back
Yeah.
in the day. Whether it was Zing, MySpace, I mean the list goes on and on. and they were able to come out of it as the leader.
King, yep.
And then they were great with their acquisition of Instagram and
Tried to buy Snapchat.
Yeah, tried to buy Snap. That would have been the smartest thing they ever did if they could have done it. Although they might have, then had some issues with the FCC and stuff like that with, having
monopoly.
Monopoly.
Right.
But the point is that, I'm glad to see they're taking this metaverse to the next level.
It's gonna be incredible.
Because that is an Elon Musk move.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just that he's into
Forward
technology.
thinking,
He's an engineer and he's like whatever. But I mean, it's
Software.
like we all know that the internet has done so much, but we've kind of run out. You know what I mean? Like we're kind of at the edge.
Repeating over and over. Yeah.
Now it's like, what can the internet become next?
A whole world.
And that's it's a whole world and
A metaverse.
yeah.
And it's
metaverse.
that means you have to be in a simulation, dude. Because if we're making one.
Remember that there was a
Eventually.
Bruce Willis movie. Did you ever see that where he was in a simulation?
I don't think so.
Oh yeah, it was a good movie. It was so basically he was like in his room as this like crippled up man or whatever, and here he is like running around like a young Bruce
Okay.
Willis,
Yeah.
full head of hair, stuff like that. I mean, imagine me. I could
Interesting,
have
yeah.
a beard like Dan, just in the metaverse.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's got to be a NFT. So you got to buy Dan's
True.
beard NFTs.
Oh, you should
True.
do beard NFTs.
Yeah, you do
That'd
like
be
the
cool.
glitter beard or like the
Yeah.
ornaments and all that stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's almost ornament season.
And then people have to, but dude, that's what'll happen. These beard companies will transition into that. That's what it'll be.
Wild.
That's amazing. Okay, that's crazy.
I don't see any other crazy questions, but Joshua's asking who will be at the Reptarium tomorrow. I'll be there by between 3 and 4.
I think we all will be there. Jay, all our educators are there. Jay, Ian, Aislinn, myself, Lori, Ashley's going to be there tomorrow. So pretty much whole crew. So yeah, I will be here all day at the Reptarium tomorrow, dressed up as something. I don't know.
thought you were
Oh
gonna say
yeah.
Santa.
Tomorrow's Halloween.
Yeah, I don't know what
Yeah.
I'm going to dress up as. Which, by the way, is Devil's Night. I've got some
Ooh, what do we
ghost
do?
hunting things on the table here. I should do some spooky stuff tonight.
That's a good idea.
But I
Yeah.
don't know. I was talking to my buddy that gave us this stuff. He was on the podcast a month or so ago, and he scared me a little bit.
What do you do?
Because he said like this is one of those like spirit boxes, and then there's an EMF detector as well. And he said that if you like scan the channels in backwards, he said if you hear a little kid's voice, don't interact with it because it's a demon.
I've heard
and,
about
and,
this.
And he's like, I've had it happen before. And he's telling me, I'm like, what? I don't. And you
I
gotta
gotta
remember
go.
that what they're saying upstairs is that Bruce and Mike say that they hear a little girl's voice
Here.
Yeah, here.
So if a little girl's voice means it must be a demon.
Yep.
They're pretending to be a little girl,
Wow.
and I don't want to do that. So,
Oh no.
listen, is Devil's Night or Halloween the more? What is the folklore? Right? Is that the veil between?
Oh yeah.
The veil between
the natural and the supernatural
Yeah,
is
is-
lifted for the night.
yeah, or the thinnest.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
it
yeah.
Devil's Night that it is, or is it Halloween?
That's a good question. I would assume that
No
it's
idea.
Halloween. I would assume that's all Hallows.
As a history guy, come on, you
No,
should know
yeah.
this.
Yeah,
man.
come on. History of Halloween? What are you
nothing.
going to teach tomorrow?
No.
Sunday.
Wait, yeah.
Sunday, never
Yeah,
mind.
Sunday.
Nothing.
Yeah, I couldn't have a bunch of kids hyped up on candy.
Yeah,
on,
no,
on
that's
Monday.
Monday.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude.
And I am a candy connoisseur, by the way,
Okay,
too.
good.
I have
Well,
a lot of candy.
you have a lot of candy.
Oh, I got a stash in my studio, stash upstairs. Like at school, I was flexing on them. I had a
dude.
question the other day. Starter was, "What's your favorite candy?" And they'd mention, I'm like, "Oh, you mean these?" I was like busting out all these boxes. They're like, "What's he got next?" And so,
So I follow this guy now online that's like a business guy, right? And he actually owns some gyms.
Okay.
And then now he has like a service base where he basically takes this model that he had to where he goes to gyms that are kind of failing and then makes them successful.
John
right?
Taffer? No, just kidding.
No. And so he broke down the easiest thing I've ever heard in fitness.
Okay.
He goes, I was at this like master class with all these multimillionaires. His company does $85 million a year. I love his YouTube videos. This is how he starts. He says his name and he said, I can't remember what his name is, but he says his name and he goes, my company does 85. He goes, I own acquisition.com, by the way, great domain. He goes, I own acquisition.com. He goes, we do $85 million a year and I've got nothing to sell you. That's how he starts every video. And so
Got
he
me
just,
hooked,
yeah,
yeah.
that's why I started watching
Yeah.
him because, most of those guys are always like, buy this course or
Right.
do this book or do
Right.
whatever. He's like, I got nothing to sell you. And so, although his videos are really, I swear to gosh, if I ever meet this guy, I'm going to ask him, every like 30 seconds in his video, he goes out of focus.
Oh, he's
And I swear to gosh, it has to be on purpose.
Like almost to fix your eyes again.
It's got to be on purpose because there's no way a guy making $85 million a year can't have a camera that can autofocus. And it's just like a stable camera. So it should never autofocus out of focus.
Yeah, and he's just sitting there, right?
I've now watched 20 videos with him in different places, and every video, every 20, 30 seconds, he goes out of focus for like 5 seconds.
Interesting.
And it's got to be, and I want to ask him, like, what's going on? Anyways, the point is, fitness guy. Making $85 million a year with this new thing instead of running gyms. And he broke down fitness the best way. He said he's at this master class. Okay. He said, I'm eating ice cream. He goes, everyone's talking about I'm on the keto diet. I'm on this. I'm doing this. And he said, and he goes, and I'm eating ice cream and candy. And he's ripped. He said, I have not had a six pack, double negative, since I was 13. He goes, since I was 13, I had a six pack abs. He's ripped, dude. He goes, and I eat candy every day, every single day. He goes, let me break down fitness to you where, that doesn't have to do with money. He goes, because every diet has to do with money. Yeah. People making money on it. He goes, you've got 3 things, and I'm giving these guys a little bit of experience about, like, I'm talking like I know what the hell I'm talking because I watched a YouTube video.
You're an expert now.
Yeah. I'm an expert now because I watch a YouTube video. But, obviously what do you have as far as eating? You have carbs. You have fat and you have protein. That's it, right? That's it. 3 things. That's all we eat in the course of a day. And so basically he said keto diet is just basically removing a third, which would be carbs, right? Removing a third. Then you go on to say a low fat diet, you're removing the fat. So what happens, you're losing weight because you're eating a third less. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, eat less than you burn.
You eat less. Now what people fail on a keto diet is they eat more fat and more protein than they're supposed to because they're hungry because they're not eating carbs. Yeah. Right? And then they don't lose weight and they say their diet didn't work. Well, it didn't work because you were just eating more calories of protein and fats than you were before when you were eating carbs, right? And so basically he just said, you figure out, and he showed the thing, like I should have 2,000 calories a day if I want to lose weight on a low level, just like a steady loss of weight, 2,000 calories a day. You should have 1 gram of protein per pound that you have. Yeah. So I'm 190 pounds. I should have 190 grams of protein. I should have about 2,000 calories. Every gram of protein is about... so if I eat 200 grams of protein, it's about 1,000. It's about 4.5 grams or 4.5 calories per gram of protein, right? So let's say 1,000 grams, 1,000 calories of my 2,000 calories should be protein a day. The other 1,000 calories, I could eat ice cream if I want. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Doesn't matter.
That protein's hard to hit that much for protein.
It is, but I do like a protein shake in the morning. That's 60 grams. So right off the bat, I've got 60 grams right there. And then, you have to have a couple, you have to eat a pound of meat a day or whatever, or take in protein, whichever other way you want. But if you can hit that protein goal and you can hit the calorie goal, it doesn't matter if you're eating ice cream, candy, or anything. Doesn't matter. Now, maybe it matters from your health standpoint. If you're crushing ice cream every day, maybe you're not going to be that healthy. But it is all about calories, and that's all that matters. If you have protein and you have the calorie count, you will lose weight. Which I found interesting.
Simple equation, yeah.
Yeah, it's the simplest thing I've ever heard. Yeah. So now I'm eating ice cream every day.
Yep, and that's it.
I'm not actually. I haven't been eating ice cream. As a matter of fact, I've sworn off pizza for the month, and
until after the show.
No, I'm not eating pizza. I've been hard.
Won't.
I have a
He's
lot of
waiting
willpower.
until
December.
Okay.
So you've got no shave November. I've got no pizza November.
Okay, I'm with you.
All right, good. Yeah, because you can have pizza.
Yeah, we have.
He's like no pizza, no never.
Celiac. So no wheat, no gluten for me.
Oh. Now, how did you find out about that? Did you eat for quite a while?
Man. So essentially you can be born with celiac. You have your intestines that have these, they're called phalange, which are these fingers.
Hairs almost.
And they like grab the nutrients and stuff. And you can be born at different levels of damaged phalange. And they estimate that mine were about half. I had some like nubs.
Okay.
And I was a swimmer, water polo player my whole life. And to get ready for like swim meets and water polo games, you carb load. So you eat pasta, you eat bread. So I was just abusing my phalange. Funny story, about less than a mile down the road is where I discovered I had celiac. I was at with my wife, Sam. We weren't married at the time. We were at Dave & Buster's for New Year's Eve. Wow. All you can eat. We were staying at I think it's a Holiday Inn right next door.
Yeah, right. I know exactly where it is.
All you can eat. So And I'm very frugal. I don't like to spend money, and if I do, I'm gonna get my most
You're
out of
gonna
it.
eat as much pizza as
Everything.
you can. Yeah,
so
you're gonna
like
crush it.
Our honeymoon, we had been on a cruise before, but we didn't do the alcohol package. And I did the alcohol package on our honeymoon, and the first day I had 14 Coronas. Not because I like wanted to.
You're just
have the
getting your
feeling.
money's
I was
worth.
like calculating it. And she wasn't drinking much, so I was like, I got to drink for her.
Yeah.
And so the same thing kind of happened there. It had breadsticks, it had pizza, breaded wings, and like. As the night's going, I'm like, man, I don't feel right. We went to the hotel room. I essentially passed out. My body shut down. Oh. And then after doctors and hospital and stuff, they're like, oh, yeah, you're full-blown celiac disease.
Oh, my gosh.
And then Maddox was born, and it's like a 50-50 hereditary.
Okay.
He has it, kind of a mild case. Then my son Jax was born, who's 4. When he was 1, stuff started going really weird, and we didn't know what happened. Essentially, he got exposed to a very small amount of wheat. We think something was cut at a restaurant with a knife.
So he has it bad.
It's called intussusception. His body freaked out so much from this foreign substance. His intestines went inside of each other. We had to rush to emergency surgery where one of my water polo players' dads was the surgeon.
Oh my God.
And saved his life. He could have died if it would have been longer because he had wheat.
Just because
That's the crazy thing.
That's crazy.
His is, and we spent a week in the hospital and U of M Children's Hospital and stuff, and they were like, yeah, yours are like half, Maddox is probably half. Your son Jax has none. Like absolutely none.
So you got to be really careful.
Very careful. And we assume Violet, our daughter, has it. We haven't had her tested or anything. We just don't have it.
Err on the side of caution.
Yeah,
no.
yeah,
So my wife is the only one in the family that is free and clear.
So she eat pizza in front of you?
No, she hasn't had wheat in 6 years.
Oh gosh,
so,
lovely woman.
Yeah, she really seems great.
She seems great because
if
if Lori was that way, I'd just be like, this pizza is so good.
And Lori would do the same to you too. 100%.
It's extra good tonight, honey.
Yeah. So she and your body, like if you take time off from that stuff, if she were to have it now, she'd probably have a similar reaction.
Yeah.
So
well, it's not good for you anyways,
No,
right? I mean, like most of that stuff is, if you cut that out, it's probably better for you.
Especially with ours, with the crossbreeding. If anybody's a reader, there's a really good book called Wheat Belly, and it like goes through the history of like genetic modification of food and stuff, and how it's pretty much like a foreign substance. Because interesting, I can have ancient grains. So if we go to Italy and get actual like pasta from Italy in these certain areas, there won't be a reaction.
You know what's crazy? I went to Italy and I ate pizza and pasta 3 times a day for like 10 days and lost 10 pounds.
See, and you probably didn't have that terrible feeling that we have here in America.
It was so good. I mean, literally lost 10.
Different.
Yeah, I lost 10 pounds, man.
Yeah.
Genetically.
I thought, when I came home, I'm like, I had to have gained 20 pounds.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a second, I lost 10 pounds eating pizza and pasta. And that's the thing. They eat pizza and pasta every day. All of them do. And they're all thin.
Yeah.
None of them are, you know, I mean, there's some people that aren't, but most people are really in shape over there, and they literally eat pasta and pizza every day.
Yeah.
Cannolis, all that.
Yeah.
So that Dave and Buster's is ingrained in my history forever.
Oh my gosh!
Yep.
Wow, that's
right down the road.
Wow, that's it. Man. Well, I'm glad that we could be of help. You.
Yeah. Thank you. The area helped, and I had a really nice room with a jacuzzi tub and all stuff, and ended up going to the hospital.
Going to the hospital. There's nothing better to start the New
Year's
Year.
Eve. Woo!
No better way to start the new year off in the hospital.
Yeah, I've done the same.
My daughter's actually due on New Year's Day.
Oh, wow.
So I hope we're spending New Year's Eve in the hospital. I hope that'd be a great way.
Yeah.
I mean, could be a day early, could be 3 days late, could be a week or two. Who knows what happens? But I hope that New Year's Eve we're in Grand Rapids.
For insurance reasons, New Year's Eve.
Yeah. Be the first one, please. Get the free baby. No, but we're super excited about it. But listen, Dan, it was amazing having you on, man. This is really good. Again, for all you beard people, welcome to the podcast. And thank you guys for hanging in there. And I hope that for my people, please give Dan a follow. Get you to 50K by November 1st.
Yes.
That would be an amazing thing. I'll do everything I can do for you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you here, man. This has been fun, dude.
Yes.
I've learned so much, man.
Hey, I'm just down the road. If you ever have a cancellation, need a filler, I love to talk.
Awesome. Well, you did. You're good. Great guest, man. So, guys, thank you so much for joining in. Sorry, we will have the Super Chats fixed the next podcast, which may or may not be Wednesday. There's a chance, I think, Wednesday I have a meeting with the city that may intrude. I'm not. It's either Wednesday or Thursday is my city meeting. If it's Wednesday, no podcast. If it isn't, then we will see you guys on Wednesday. Super Chats will be back up. But hey, thank you guys so much. Have a great night and happy Halloween.
Woo!
Stuff.